I hope your ship is well, that only Jolly Roger has been through hell. Yo ho ho, on an adventure we go. In the deep digital high seas, we travel with ease, until we reach the outer edge and freeze. The Arctic chill like a very speed mill, through the darkness led by our will. Yo ho, on an adventure we go, to beyond the outer limits of society, broadcasting the reality. The pirates will always steal the show, from WPRPN, you know. Yo ho, on an adventure we go. Docked our vessels in the Skullboard Harbor, no land mothers will fight for you harder. Your old first mate went AWOL after a tricky deal haul. The legacy of pirate radio is strong. I hope our mates will come along. The changes we seek may not be long. That is why I wrote this song. And we go ho ho, on adventure we go.
Welcome everybody, friends, folks, foes, and fellow pirate mateys, to yet another weekly edition of World Pirate Radio News. It's show segment number 304. I'm your host, as always, show's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder. WPRPN.com is a website you'll want to take note of. Be sure to drop by. Keep in mind, sign up is free. All you simply need is a username, password, and email address. At which point, if you have any problems along the way, do not hesitate in getting back to us via our main email, pirate1radio@protonmail.com. That's pirate, the numeral 1, radio @protonmail.com. We'll take whatever steps are necessary in helping to smooth things over, get you sailing off in just the sort of direction you hope to be. Be sure as well to take a few moments to check out the show description end of things. We have a Patreon presence along with merchandise up for grabs, and a whole other host of ways you can engage us, including PayPal, which is once again via the main email address, pirate1radio@protonmail.com. Half of everything that we do manage to generate goes directly back to charity, as one might expect, given our guiding ethos and philosophy. Hashtag WWRHD, what would Robin Hood do? Be sure as well, of course, as always, to like, comment, share, hit the subscription notification buttons, and password along to your friends, family, and co-workers. Okay, it's been an eventful week yet again. Trump inauguration taking place just yesterday. A lot of drama on that front. Looks like the attempted ceasefire in the Middle East pretty shaky ground at the moment. Recent passing of band member Garth Hudson, 87 years of age. What a great band that group was. The memory and music will certainly live on down through the ages. There's no doubt about that. So, upward and onward. Leonard Peltier, having recently received clemency just in the final few minutes to the Biden presidency. Isn't that something? Leonard Peltier, someone who had been in prison for close to 50 years, as a matter of fact, on the basis of allegations of him having shot two FBI agents on the Pine Ridge Reservation. Now, was that via North or South Dakota? I couldn't quite tell you. Maybe one of our co-hosts here could, though, and that would be Alan Fredrickson out of Fort Collins, Colorado. Your surname is indeed Fredrickson, as memory serves. Is that right, Alan?
It's old, actually old German in a different order. It's Son of Frederick is the proper title.
Correct. Yeah, but it is your Alan Fredrickson. Yes.
Yes.
Right. Good. So, Pine Ridge Reservation, is that North or South Dakota?
I am actually not sure. Now,
No.
what was the incident?
Oh, well,
You were saying that
look at
somebody had shot
Leonard Peltier, very high-profile case, which I'm not sure if either of our other guests, co-hosts, and commentators, Robert could probably look, or rather Roger could probably look it up on the fly here. Roger Hansen, but Vinny, not Vinny from Brooklyn this go round, but can you believe it, folks? Vinny Eastwood has returned to the fold here once again, joining this
Dakota
motley crew of freebooting digital pirates down in Skullport Harbor. So welcome to all of you. Vinny,
Thanks, Jeffy.
Yeah, man, good to reconnect. As you know, each and every time we have this opportunity, it's always a pleasure. How are things now? You say you're not really following the news too much yourself via either New Zealand or Australia. What have you been up to as late? Just kind of trying to, spend a little quality time with your young child and keep your life on track, I guess. Is that right? Not much in the way of live streams either.
Yeah, pretty much. It's summertime holidays here, so yeah, it's not time for work.
You did talk to Billy TK though a week or two ago, didn't you?
Yes, I unfortunately still have to do my weekly show.
Yeah. Well, I know what you mean, because it can get to be. I don't know if it's quite taxing. There's no doubt about that. Quite taxing. Both of us play music, and I'm not sure how you feel when you just even at home by yourself, jamming out a tune, or whatever the case may be with your band buddies or what have you. But it really does. We have to watch our energy. I've noticed over the years what we put out and offer to the audience, presenting the music. Similarly with what we're doing here, of course, the live streams. Thousands of shows over the course of it's been almost more than 10 years, almost 15 or so.
Nearly 20.
Oh, God.
Nearly 20 years.
Wow. Incredible. So, yeah, I don't blame you for taking a bit of a step back and kind of winding things down a little, and a more a more relaxed pace. We're here to help pick up the slack. How about that, Vinny? So, we watched your show, and numerous others, of course, but followed your work for quite a few years, and even before. I think even before we were drawn into this whole thing as well, believe it or not, and that was really kind of a strange set of circumstances where it had not been my real intent to to make happen what we have managed to achieve to this point. It just, the stars, things, the cosmos, sort of, it drew us in. Shakespeare, what did he talk about? I'm not sure what work of his play that was, but people who are with destiny and birth, and then just sometimes you have, like, no choice. So with the fate that awaits you. So yeah, there we go. But Roger, out of West Frankfort, Illinois, thoughts on any current news items? Whether, I'm not sure if you're a big music fan, as I myself am here. The release, of course, of Leonard Peltier. He was a long time, really political prisoner, of whom the prosecution had the case that they had presented. There was a lot of criticism. I think my impression was that was quite justifiably criticizing the attempt, the effort that was made in having him locked up for nearly half a century. It was full of holes, basically, is what critics have long
Yeah, that's what
claimed.
that's what they said about JFK. It was full of
Stop it.
holes.
Stop it. Hey, man. Yeah. You and Bill Shatner, although he says he doesn't do podcasts, but apparently that's one of the things he's notorious for, even probably at the ripe old age of 96 or something in that neighborhood. Puns, one after the next. Yeah. Oh, God.
That sounds like a man after my own heart. I actually did serve some time in a penitentiary.
Ah, that's right. I guess you did. Do you care to, for those of our audience members who maybe are not familiar with your case, why don't you take the opportunity, if you're so inclined, to just recap, revisit, summary kind of fashion, breaking down the key points?
All right, well, just to give a basic impression of what the Vinny Eastwood show is, I'll just do for you the intro. Welcome, ladies, gentlemen, and hermaphrodites, my fellow slaves of the global plantation. The Vinny Eastwood show is bad news. It's like the news, but so much worse.
That's right.
It's the lighter side of genocide. Just because we're being exterminated doesn't mean we can't enjoy it. Otherwise, what's the point of being killed? The Vinny Eastwood Show, where the only thing worse than living in a high-tech global police state run by child trafficking Satanists is Vinny's jokes.
Yeah, it's actually has got me thinking, and I'm not sure who's coming in with a whole lot of static there. It looks like it is Chris, actually, so we'll want to get on top of that without any further delay. But not only, your case, just kind of revisiting and addressing some of the key points, or just completely, people can look it up online as well. The internet, I'm sure, has a lot of information regarding your case.
Basically, just go and watch, go to my homepage, thevinnyeastwoodshow.com. That's Vinny with a Y, because it's the most important question. And Eastwood, go ahead, make my news. And if you scroll down on the homepage, you'll see a little banner for the day that democracy died. That was the day that myself and
Yeah.
Billy TK were arrested for protesting lockdowns. And New Zealand's been a full-on slave colony ever since. Anytime that there's been a big protest, the police have shut it down. And yeah, that's the end of free speech in New Zealand, and it ain't coming back.
Pepper spray, water cannons, all that kind of good stuff. How do they manage to go about doing their dirty business?
Oh, what I found interesting was like the exotic weapons that they used, like the sound cannons and the EMF cannons.
Oh, right.
You know, so like you had people coming back weeks and months after the protest, my ex-partner included, who was sick as they've ever been in their life for like at least a month, sometimes longer, after coming back from the Wellington protest, which occurred after myself and Billy TK were arrested months earlier. And of course, we were on bail conditions, so we weren't able to attend that big protest. And we were also banned from accessing the internet. So we also lost basically our entire audience because I think maybe half a dozen other alternative media platforms started up in New Zealand around about the day that Billy TK and I went off air. And so when they're stuck in lockdown, everybody needed some information. And so they went to all of those people and completely forgot about us. So, you know, I'm considered a legend in New Zealand by a lot of people, but I've had to correct them. I'm afraid I'm actually become more of a myth.
Mm-hmm. You know, they do say, some people that is, it's actually better to be remembered and looked upon as a myth rather than a legend. So,
If you say so.
Well, no, I've actually, I forget who told, you know, kind of threw that out there, bounced it off of me last year. I think.
Which one would?
Well, it might have been you.
Either
Alan,
myth
go. Alan,
or
go
a
ahead.
legend, either.
Try it again.
I was just saying, if I'm a legend, I'm dead.
Yeah.
If I reach either status, it would be, you know, impressive to somebody, right?
Well, see, the thing with myth, the status of myth is you're rarely ever seen. But there's a lot of stories, perhaps, that circulate, you know, and
I do consider myself somewhat mysterious in the.
Well, keep a low profile. The lower profile you keep, I guess.
I mean,
the more...
it is difficult for somebody who's 6'6" to keep a low profile, or to hide for that matter. So yeah, I've had a rough life.
Just crawl around New Zealand, and it should come off without a hitch. You know, piece of cake. You know,
I mean, if they say that, you know,
down your hands and knees.
If somebody's good at hiding, you'd say that you can't find them anywhere. And I'm in New Zealand, which is frickin' nowhere. All right, so
yeah,
I'm hiding nowhere.
Well, there's a few things I'd like to touch on just briefly here. You know, this general, this Milley, who now, I guess Trump, it seems, had a bit of a hand or role in removing Milley's picture from the walls of the Pentagon just in the last 24 hours. A lot of swift action on Trump's part on a whole host of various fronts, which is noteworthy.
Which sorry to interrupt, but which Millie is this? Is it Vanilli?
Milli Vanilli. That's right. Yeah. With the wee little Willie. Milli Vanilli with the wee little Willie, and they made him general too. You think that they would promote the ones with the larger members, but no. So then again, I guess you could say when it comes to the whole thing of warfare, there's a lot to be said for. Well, George Carlin talked about the dick waving angle to things and the small man's complex. Missiles, of course, warheads and whatnot, all shaped like giant, whats. So, But no, this guy was
That's
Millie.
it does help them to fly through the air a bit smoother and get into places. But I digress.
Aerodynamically, maybe God knew what he was. There's
Or perhaps aerodynamically. But go ahead.
aerodynamic. Okay, go ahead, Roger.
Could you please be a little bit more specific? I didn't understand what you were referring to when you was talking right there. Like long arrow, something.
Basically, just telling you to stop being such a dick.
No, I mean you were saying this guy is what?
Oh, Millie?
Yeah, Millie's.
They took his picture down from the walls of the Pentagon, I guess. They have all the big military brass pictures out on full display, and his has been removed in just the last 24 hours. So now, but let me just to cap this off. This is important because you were talking earlier, Vinny, about the cutting edge technology, the weapons that are being used, maybe even, you could say silent weapons for quiet wars, that Millie himself allegedly was responsible, and it's not widely known, but it's coming out more now today. So the story goes, fact check, folks. Get out there, you keyboard warriors, and start digging around. See what you can come up with. January 6th, something we're seeing, a little bit of here in our slideshow, given the fact that most of the protesters who were in attendance that day have now been pardoned. Not all. I think there's around half a dozen or so that granted clemency or something to that effect. But the esoteric technology, weaponry that for crowd dispersal and mind control, essentially, Millie on January 6th ordered their implementation. They didn't actually have boots on the ground. There's a lot going on there as far as it was designed to fail, obviously. With Pelosi's role in things, and who is it? Was it the mayor of D.C.? I think had some direct involvement. So, all to make Trump look bad, who himself had offered to send, I think it was thousands of National Guard that he had proposed to send, as and the likes of Pelosi and others, they shot it down because they wanted it to happen, clearly. So, but that's why I brought up Millie, partly in trying to just connect a few dots for people out there listening. I'm not sure if there's anything more to care to add to that, but there's another. I mean, I'm surprised Garth Hudson that he lived as long as he did. It seems he was a pretty. I'm not sure what kind of health problems he struggled with throughout the course of his life. Probably, I would imagine, a few. His wife predeceased him by 2 years, and yeah, he was 87 when he passed away in a Woodstock, New York care facility. So peacefully, that's how the story goes. But I think he's just a beautiful guy. The world really would benefit from seeing the likes of people like Garth. Very, very quiet, gentle individual was the sort of vibe I got. You hardly ever saw him do any interviews, and he was really kind of not big into the whole legend approach, putting himself out there on center stage, as some people in celebrities who are entertainers and part of the public domain are more inclined to do, obviously. So And that's one reason why I'm speaking for myself here. People, listeners to the show, will know that it's only just this past year that I finally decided to, turn the camera on, essentially, and shake up the approach, the medium, as Marshall McLuhan back in the day said. It actually, I guess, was not the medium is the message, but rather the medium is the massage. Massage. Marshall McLuhan. Not the message, but the massage. So, folks, anything more you care to add to? Oh, and we got Sonia back in here, and Chris. Let's get to the two of you, who we are, speaking of cameras and so forth, bringing up so that people can get a better look at. Sonia, let's check out your mic there one more time. It wasn't so hot the first go around.
Is that better?
That's a lot better. Yes, Chris.
Yeah.
Do better out of Atlanta, Georgia. And Sonia Galactic via Phoenix, Arizona. Go ahead, Chris.
Just hey now, hey,
Yeah.
how's it going?
That's way to go. Good. I think we're all definitely in business here. So, any big stories then, other than what we've touched on? I mean, we could go a lot deeper into any of these, obviously. And we'll keep an eye, and we'd actually ask you, the folks we have on board here, to keep watch on the peanut gallery end of things via YouTube, DLive, my own Facebook, of course, is what we're limited to now, unfortunately, and homenetwork.tv. Any chat feature on board over on Home Network TV, Ellen? Just a second here, Roger. Hang on.
No, that's traditional TV. Chat in that, but individual channels we do have. So if you post a video or something like that, it normally has chat.
Okay, well, we'll talk more about that whole technical, format business a little later, I guess, because we do have a few other things we'd like to bounce off of you. Roger, go ahead.
I was going to tell you that it was South Dakota. And it was also another death that occurred this week was Dick Van Dyke. We were talking about.
Oh, really? Didn't hear about that. Dick Van Dyke. Wow. So he was almost 100, wasn't he?
Yep. Like right around 95.
No. I think he was older than that, wasn't he?
I don't know for sure exactly what the year he had. I know he was in his 90s.
Well, I don't think he ever stopped doing TV or movies.
Yeah.
So.
But it was South Dakota though. Like
what?
The tier.
Pine Ridge Reservation. Yeah, Leonard. Yeah. I pronounce it Peltier, but apparently it's
Peltier.
Yeah, well, that's for some reason I'm thinking like Métis or something. It's like a French name.
99. He would have been 100 in December.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Chitty chitty bang bang.
Mm-hmm.
It's a shame how the woke culture just sort of like changes culture, and then all of a sudden having the name Dick Van Dyke is it's just not politically correct, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. You have to get rid of him. Yeah, eliminate any Dicks or Dykes.
Sorry, Dick. You've got to either change your name or you're just not going to get any more work, son. I'm sorry. The industry's changed.
We can't allow you to live any longer.
We don't have room for people of your namesake. I'm sorry, Dick.
Old Dicks and old Dykes. You gotta go. Making the world safe, for anyone who's not an old Dick or Dyke. Generation, what do they call them now? Generation Z. And by the way, what's coming next anyways? Like the millennials, post-millennial generation.
And then Alpha, I think, generation.
Oh,
Alpha.
Starting all over again. I see. Hey, so here's an important, I think, question. I like, and it's kind of, we got a round table here, obviously, so there'll be a variety of perspectives and responses. But your take on the whole upcoming Trump term. What impact is that going to have in America? And then, of course, for people such as me here living out of, South Korea, Vinny down there in New Zealand, Canadians and so forth, where these U.S. tariffs are being potentially imposed. Daniel Smith out of Canada, actually the premier, seemed to make it was a visit to Trump down at Mar-a-Lago in the lead up to his inauguration, and I think my sense is a pretty cordial dialogue that they had. So as compared to Governor Castro, Queen Justine Castro. But yeah, there we go. And by the way, apparently that term Queen Justine was something that Robert Morningstar came up with. And I heard Trump actually use that on one occasion. He even went so far as to use that little catchphrase, Queen Justine. And it's like, what? My jaw kind of dropped, because it's really only us here across the digital underground live streaming that.
My comments are very similar to probably, or at least they will be, to my previous comments. I've just popped it in the call chat here, which is my article from 2016 on the 11th of the 11th.
Right.
Congratulations, order followers. Trump's administration is filled with New World Order frontmen and dark occultists.
Plutocrats. They're pretty rich people surrounding Trump. Really rich, plutocrats. By the way, let me just say before we carry on there, Vinny, anyone wanting to jump in, it's usually a good idea to raise your hand. And you can either do that on camera, yes, but there also is that option on Skype where you can click on the raise hand icon, okay, just for future consideration. And Alan, just to let Alan know that your mic, it's kind of touch and go. So I'm not sure what we're going to do about that. When it kicks in, it sounds all right, but it takes a few moments for us to hear anything coming from you.
So, Jeffy, I just wanted to point this out to people in case they didn't already know about it.
Sure.
Trump's last cabinet, which are appointed, unelected, all but two were easily searchable members of the Freemasons, Trilateral Commission, the Council for National Policy, the Council on Foreign Relations, or Skull and Bones. All but two of them, which is easily searchable. You just Google their name, plus Freemasons, Trilateral Commission, Council for National Policy, Council on Foreign Relations, or Skull and Bones, and they all come up with a hit very, very easily without even having to look very far. And these are all the roundtable groups that Alex Jones pointed out in his documentary about Obama that really run America. These private groups and clubs and think tanks are the ones that do it. And Alex Jones also pointed out that that's how you know the president is a puppet, because his entire cabinet gets appointed with these people, which is exactly what Trump did the first time he came into power while Alex Jones was promoting him. And now he's in power again. How long until he announces his cabinet before another easily Googleable bunch of dark occultists come up in the administration of the United States of America? Just wanted to say that.
Yeah, so open format, open table. Criticisms of POTUS are freely, welcome and allowed. It's critical, obviously, to keep checks and balances. The fifth estate. That's what we're all about here, folks. Chris Do Better out of Atlanta. Your hand is raised. Go ahead.
Hey, so did y'all watch the actual inauguration speech or whatever that was after?
Mm-hmm.
Where
he didn't put his hand on the Bible?
Yeah, that was part of it. Saw that. Also,
but Melania did, so maybe she's the president.
She was holding the Bible, wasn't
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
she was holding two different books. I'm not really sure what she was holding.
It's like, this is mine.
But also the after little speech where he got a little more intimate. He got he started talking about the election and how they were trying to do it again, like trying to steal the election again with Kamala, but they weren't allowed to, or didn't happen, whatever. And then he leans into that the reason why the polls were so off, because it was a landslide victory. So why were the polls so shifted towards Kamala when? And he started talking about that the pollsters were calling all these Trump supporters, and they were telling the pollsters it's none of their business. So that's why the polls were so off. So he just gaslighted everyone, and like blatant, like you go from saying they trying to do it again, but then you're right there saying that it was because of the pollsters saying that it's none of their business. That's why the polls were so off. That's obvious, like blatant gaslight, and I lost pretty much all respect.
Did you vote for him this go round?
I no, I didn't.
You voted for Biden, or just didn't vote at all?
No, I didn't vote at all.
I see.
I've been out of the clown world for quite a while.
Okay. What about you, Alan? I don't know if you care to disclose or not, but you are American. Roger, of course, as well. And we have within the vacuum Isaac via Costa Rica. Hola, muy amigo. ¿Cómo está?
Hello. Everything good around here.
How's my Spanish?
Nice to be here.
Is my Spanish okay?
Well, it's getting better, yeah.
Oh, geez, needs a little work.
Cool.
Hey, how do you say pirates of God? Is it Piratas de Dios?
Piratas de Dios.
That's us. Well, I'll tell you, there's a backstory to that. I'll share with you a little later. And it impacts who we are, our operation, and one of the crew members we lost. But he's up there now. I'm not sure what kind of heaven, special place do pirates who have redeemed themselves, where do they go? They've kind of made a deal, soul contract, to return and do good, kind of like Chris, do better, maybe.
Wouldn't they just go wherever they want to go?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
The problem is here with the whole pirate angle is that it was the British Crown that basically created piracy. They appointed and gave commissions to what they called privateers,
right?
Or what we know as pirates.
Yeah.
So that they would attack Spanish and
technicality.
Ships.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. Yeah, if the Queen signs off, Queen or King signs off, says you got the green light, then you're no longer a pirate. That's right. Yes, but we're freebooters. You see, look that one up. Freebooters. So, and do you want to hear the story of Piratas de Dios? More clarification on that one. And Pirate Larry, who's now kind of dropped the body and leveled up, as it were. That I really don't like using that term, dropping the body, because that's like one of the Scientology little catchphrases that they use to, rope people in with, I guess. But it's accurate. Dropping, that's what we do when we die, right? We drop our body. So, but Hubbard drew upon a lot of different traditions. But Piratas de Dios, badasses basically is what, if you go back and listen to the archive shows that Larry did with us, the first number of years that the show was together, that in a former life, we were bad boys and girls, and we didn't treat people all that well. In fact, some of us went so far as to killing, raping, pillaging, you name it, horrendous things. But we've had the chance now, after seeing the error of our ways, to maybe sign off on a contract of sorts in returning to Earth and working to do what we can to produce, make more positive karma. So redeem, essentially, redemption, like Bob Marley sings about, right? Redemption song.
Or I think maybe it's more along the lines of what Friedrich Bastiat said, is that when plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men living together in society, they create for themselves in the course of time a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What? Okay, start from the beginning again. Bastiat is his name. Is that right?
Yeah, Friedrich Bastiat.
Yeah.
He's an old school philosopher.
Right.
When plunder becomes a way of life for a group of men living together in society, they create for themselves, in the course of time, a legal system that authorizes it and a moral code that glorifies it.
Yeah, of course. That's the nature of any ideology, ruling ideology. Exactly. That's what it's all about. You need something that's going to serve to legitimize whatever the status quo is, right? And when things change, you need to come up with something different, something new to reflect the changing times and realities. So that's just, yeah, but that's a good way of putting it. Definitely. Bastiat, Friedrich Bastiat, good stuff. So but here's the thing.
Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those good Bastiats.
Right, sure. But here's the thing. Orphans and widows and orphans is what Larry talked about. So that's one of the reasons why, even before we hooked up with him, we were all in with Operation Secret Santa, pledging our time, dedicating our lives, efforts, and energy, money as well, too, doubloons, of course, hard earned, to help support people who are in greater need than ourselves. As unimpressive, really, as our lives may be on an economic, societal, level, that we can still reach out and make an effort to assist those who are in greater need than even ourselves. Food, shelter, clothing, love, and thinking outside the box too. It's not just all about the Benjamins, the doubloons, the shekels. That always helps, of course, but food and clothing, those are really critical. Food, clothing, love, shelter. Look at what, and that's all part of the redemption program, essentially, an agenda, and what according to Larry. And you could look at it as a kind of, was he joking or was he being serious? But there was a group, actually, Isaac, you might be interested in looking into this outfit. You could even connect with them, his musical buddies. They're at Baja, Mexico. So you can speak, you can talk your native tongue, Spanish, I'm sure. Unless they talk Mexican, then I guess you'll have problems communicating, right?
It's the same. Yeah. Well,
Don't they talk Mexican?
Well, there's a lot of Mexican shows that I love El Chavo
I'm
del
joking.
Ocho.
Yeah.
And Cantinflas and all the classics.
Yeah.
Beautiful
Okay.
shows.
You got your hand raised.
I was thinking about about pirates, about the book from Buckminster Fuller, right? Operating Manual for the Spaceship Earth, that talks about the era of pirates, right? And when pirates actually were running the world, and they were like, installing kingdoms and kings and queens everywhere, right? That's interesting.
Well, when have pirates ever stopped running the world? It's always been run by plunder and you know, like, I'm not sure, privilege, yeah, obviously, but just duplicity, skullduggery, double cross, all these sort of things, you know, that we read about and that we've
All
experienced.
of it.
Sure. So, but we're
In
here.
the
I mean, are we real? Are we real pirates? I myself don't. I mean, give me a break. I wish. Actually, I'm happy. I'm happy I don't have to rape, kill, or plunder because, you know, I'm all about. There's too much suffering in the world already, right? So if we can reach out to others and provide solutions, and that's a major win for everybody. Sonia was
Well,
really.
I mean,
Go ahead.
let's say that there was an enemy of the crown at the time that she created piracy, and that enemy was the Spanish Armada, and the Portuguese. And so, who is the enemy today of humanity? Who's got a lot of booty, a lot of plunder that could be reckoned with, a lot of loot that could be taken, like people like Bill Gates, for example. What if pirates started turning up at his yachts or at his mansions and things of that nature? You know, single shot pistols and cutlasses, and breaking through all his sophisticated technology and hauling off the loot. You know, and wouldn't that be like an appropriate cause for modern day piracy, is to take loot off of those who've got way too much and use it only for evil purposes?
Ill-gotten gains, yeah. A lot of people do talk about Musk being a pretty evil person too. You know, there's those. Not everyone is a fan of the guy, and those that have met him
Well,
and spent time.
This comes down to the idea of Robin Hood, because at the moment we don't really have a Robin Hood. We've got a lot of victimhood, though.
Mm-hmm.
People getting depressed about all of the things that have been taken from them. Because I was talking to a friend of mine who's going through a bit of a rough time. He's been robbed 4 times in a month, and has been getting harassed by authorities since like 2015. You know, and it hasn't stopped. It's been going on like nearly 10 years now.
Really?
And
you're not talking. You're not talking about DK.
No.
Oh, okay.
And he has been going through this kind of trauma and stress of being under surveillance, having people physically watching him, and getting robbed, and having attempts on his life, and had his house burned down with his child inside it, you know.
Wow.
And you have to look at the consequences of your activism, right? Because oftentimes you don't look at the consequences before you enter into the world of activism.
Well, it's martyrdom, man. You better be sure that, yeah, it's like you're putting essentially your life on the line, you know. And so and the key operative word there is action. You know, it's what does the word karma mean other than exactly that? Just action. So we have to be skillful, you know. We can't just be running around out, you know, navigating the world like a bull and a what did they say, a bull in a china shop.
Nevertheless,
Choose your actions
the point I was trying to
and words
get to
carefully.
was that what happens to you affects you. Like, let's say, for example, you're a happy-go-lucky, you know, plucky person, and then you get arrested or you have horrible things happen to you. What happens to your mind? You will usually develop a complex post-traumatic stress, which basically it means that you don't interpret threats as other ordinary, quote-unquote, normal people do. You interpret them very, very quickly and react to them almost instantly. That's why, you know, that feeling when somebody cuts you off in the middle of traffic or something like that, and you have to slam on the brakes in order to stop an accident from happening. That feeling, that, oh, and it takes a few minutes to go away. Yeah, if you've got complex post-traumatic stress, that can happen while you're making a coffee, you know?
Yeah.
And
be prepared. Be prepared. Always be in the moment and prepared for anything.
I'm trying to make a point here. This is about a increased survival instinct.
Yeah.
Right? If you've been exposed to life-threatening situations significantly, your brain rewires itself so that it can respond to threats much, much faster and much more effectively. So a lot of people who think that they are suffering mental illness and things of that nature maybe don't get that perspective, that they don't have a mental illness. They've got an increased survival instinct.
Well, yeah, it could be a lot of things, I guess. Joshua Allen Huckle here saying that he just heard your commercial on Clyde Lewis. So good stuff.
How much do you think that is responsible for the programming on TV? I mean, we have so many programs that sit there and promote violence and stimulate the act of violence or the act of defense, and you're constantly bombarded by that. So, yeah, TV, I think, is a good portion of that pre-programming to allow that kind of stress.
That's part of it.
And what's problematic about it is that when you've got that post-traumatic stress sort of brain, the three cortexes don't work quite normally. Like the prefrontal cortex that does all your thinking, black and white stuff, you know, math, that doesn't work quite as well anymore. And the mammalian cortex that does all your social feelings and emotions and things, that doesn't work very well. But your fight or flight and your freeze and your submit and your attach responses are quite significant. So theoretically, the New World Order has been traumatizing people in many, many different ways throughout the course of their lives in order to solicit that attach and that submit response. How many people around there that you see walking around in the street do you think possibly are in a submissive stance to the authority that controls them, or in an attached stance where they love being tyrannized?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And would die to defend their captor.
I completely understand what you're talking about, because I can see that all the different traumas that I've been through in my life and how they've affected me, and how I've not realized like how much it's affected me. Mm-hmm. But thinking back, like, yeah, I can see how it's definitely affected me. But how do you move forward? And I mean, I just keep on keeping on, and I've pulled myself up and all the things.
You practice meditation?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Excellent. Sure. Well, there you go. That's free. Hey, look at the two words: meditation versus medication.
Yeah, I don't go to like shrinks and all that kind of stuff.
No, that's amazing. But do you have like a support group or peers that you connect with?
Myself, and then reaching out to different people. Yeah, for sure. But they don't know they're my support group. But yeah.
Like what function or role do you think we have in that capacity, if any? No.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it definitely gives me some sanity knowing that I'm not talking crazy. So
yeah, lone wolf.
Yeah, well, that was the point that I wanted to make. Is that if you are an activist of some description, or you're willing to make sacrifices for a better tomorrow, in my opinion, that makes us mentally ill. Right. And when people are ill in some way, they want to get better. And so because of the things that have happened to us that have affected our internal moods and thoughts, feelings, stuff like that, we realize that we didn't do that to ourselves. The world did it to us. And so we want to change the world a little bit so that other people don't have to go through what we went through. It's like a martyr complex to a degree. Now, the difference between people who are completely insane and people who are activists with mental illness of some degree or another is the activist realizes that they're not 100% who they used to be, and they have a cognizant capacity to understand what that means. The insane person, on the other hand, thinks they're totally sane, right? It's like I always say, how do you know if you're under mind control? If you don't think you are.
Yeah, the best slave, according to Goethe, were the ones who they thought they were free, essentially. So
yeah, Steve Hughes, the comedian, said that these guys didn't set everybody free. They just figured, all right, mate, we've got these guys and we've got to feed them, we've got to house them. Why don't we just give them $2.50 an hour and tell them to bugger off? You're free now, guys. We'll see you here tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Who said that?
Steve Hughes.
Right. Yeah.
In my opinion, greatest living comedian. after the deaths of Bruce Hicks and Carlin, respectively.
Oh, Bill Hicks. You're confusing Bill Hicks with Bruce Springsteen.
No.
Bruce
Lenny
Lee?
Bruce.
Oh, Bruce Lee.
Lenny Bruce was the Bill Hicks of the 70s, and Bill Hicks was the 80s and early 90s, and towards the late 90s and early 2000s, Carlin had the spot of the top enlightening comedian, and when he died, it reverted to Steve Hughes, who's from Australia.
Yeah.
He always finds it very difficult being a white man in a black man's country in the middle of Asia. So he had to get out of Australia and go to England, where the comedy is good.
I should pay closer attention to his work. He's really quite. I know who you're talking about. He's kind of he's long haired, kind of freaky. Is he gangly? Is he tall? Spindly?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know if he's got a facial hair or not. I can't quite recall. He's easy enough to find on YouTube though. Karma Love, big shout out to you. And wow, we got a whole bunch of people here dropping in to the live chat on across the whole host of platforms: DLive, YouTube, Fakebook. Be great to get something up and running via homenetwork.tv. I suppose that's just a matter of time though. Isaac, aka Within the Vacuum, over on DLive. Obey News 13. We've seen this character around from time to time. Not sure exactly who they are, where they're based out of. Help to fill in a few of the blanks there for us, if you would. Obey, and we'll see where that all leads to. So Joshua talks about how it's freezing in Iowa, and once again heard the Vinny commercial on Clyde Lewis. What was this? Is promoting or plugging your show, Vincent, or what are we looking at there? I'd imagine it's something to that effect. What's he selling?
Good. I have to go to bed here pretty soon. It's after 10 here, but I want to thank you first of all for having me on the show. But Home Network TV is something that you can broadcast to as well. The live broadcasts are not recorded, so if you want to record them separately. But if you want to post a pre-recorded show up there, we've got the ability in order to do that, and it's absolutely free in order to become a member. But nonetheless, we hope to see you over there as well.
Thanks, Alan. Always appreciate homenetwork.tv. Sweet dreams.
Have a good one, and thank you so much.
All right. So Fort Collins, Colorado. Good stuff. And scrolling on down here, let's see who else. There's a 34-year-old soap opera star that just died. So add that to the SADS list, sudden adult death syndrome. People just don't drop dead from out of the blue at 34.
Just looked up this Steve Hughes guy, and wow, he's got to be like related to Frank Zappa somehow.
Yes.
Or,
It
looks just like him.
That's the old Steve Hughes, by the way. He's gotten a haircut.
He's grown younger.
But yeah, that's uncanny. Crazy.
Anyone watched Dave Chappelle on Saturday Night Live? I didn't myself. He's typically quite he's quite a gut buster though, isn't he? Yeah, he's good for a few laughs. Did anyone? Just a couple of you Yanks might have, I guess, or Vinny.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing Dave Chappelle on his movie Half Baked. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah. No, he's done a lot of great work over there. He's very insightful, as any real good, quality comedian is. Steve Martin and Martin Short, I've been trying to watch more of their Only Murders in the Building series as of late. Really impressed. I mean, the two just comedy legends, of course. And Martin Short going as far back to at least the SCTV days, which is another comedy series, sketch comedy out of Second City, I guess is what they call it, Second City TV, Toronto. I think it was Toronto, Canada. Not sure if they moved to like Buffalo later on down the road or not. But John Candy was a part of that. Eugene Levy, Bob and Doug McKenzie, of course. So some pretty. Who are we missing out on there? Who we actually had the passing of one of the gentlemen. Actually, why is his name escaping me? It shouldn't, but he died just recently. Harold Ramis, of course, a fair number. What was it? Harold Ramis, what, 5-6 years ago now? The director of Caddyshack, among other things. Was he Ghostbusters too, if I'm not mistaken? It may be help if we had if Angel was to answer the call here one of these weeks. He's been feeling pretty under the weather as of late, though. So yeah, I'll definitely try to make an effort to go and check out the the Dave Chappelle bit there. So thanks for the heads up. Because he's exercising sovereignty is what Karma Love is saying. I'm not sure what that. Give us a little more context, if you would, there, please, Karma Love. Who's exercising sovereignty? Legality, legalese, and signing off on contracts, things such as that. It's the straw man, of course, straw man fallacy, and legal fictions. It's pretty crazy the way we have these legal systems clear across the world, but such little justice to any legal system. I would argue it's probably justice has now been served as far as the January 6th protesters are concerned. Hopefully they'll have a chance to launch major legal suits. I guess that's only going to impact and affect the American taxpayer, though, obviously. Unless there's any other way that could possibly be done. So, but don't you all think that affirm as opposed to swearing is what Karmalov is saying here in court? Affirm as opposed to swearing. There's a distinction to be made. Interesting. She's probably onto something. To affirm. The devil's in the details. Definitely is what we're always looking at there. So what about the state of the economy, U.S. economy, turning things around internationally, imposition of tariffs, and the U.S. dollar? Can somebody track down the story dealing with how Bill Ottman over on Minds.com posted something just a couple weeks ago regarding how, I think it's just in the last year, that 8 times the number of all dollars ever printed were produced just in the past year alone. So in all of history, these Federal Reserve banknotes is what they're more formally known as. So, but hey, no worries on that front. No fear. Trump's he's got his Trump coin and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to fill the void, as it were, for smart cities or freedom cities, as I believe Musk and these tech bro plutocrats would like to see unfold. So, Chris, were you going to say something there? I heard a bit of it's almost like you're kind of rolling your eyes in a virtual sense.
No, I was just looking up the swearing versus the affirming, and it's basically the same thing, just one, the affirming, not referring to a god, and swearing being recognizing, the God, that whatever.
What do you think of this whole business of Trump not putting his hand on the Bible? Or
that's what we're referring to, I believe. The swearing versus affirming. So he affirmed his presidency versus swore it.
So that's what he did he?
I guess.
Oh, I see.
Did he say the word "I swear"?
I couldn't quite tell you. I have to go back and
yeah, I'd have to go back.
Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I was just wondering if he had the Torah to swear on, would he have put his hand on that? Because it was his entire cabinet, basically, last time he became president was Jewish. So, you know.
Yeah, you can swear on that. Ah, shit. Ah, you know, God damn, son of a. Yeah, swear an oath, or yeah, and taking oaths too. Let's not forget. Doesn't it say in the Bible that let your yes be a yes and your no be a no? Anything beyond that is said to be from the evil one.
It's let hot be hot and cold be cold.
That's the New Testament.
I think so. Billy TK told me something about it. It's like Jesus didn't want to go into a church that was lukewarm. He would rather it be hot or cold, something like that.
Okay, or maybe there's like several references to that sort of deal. Ah, shit. Do I really need these glasses? I don't think so. You guys look a little blurry without them, but yeah, I look a little better. Maybe on camera, not sans les ouvres. I think that's how you say in French. So now I can't see what's going on. Actually, you know what? I'm wearing the wrong kind of glasses to begin with. It's like Sonia. She's reminded me. Talked about. I'd actually be maybe better off with bifocals. So, all right. Well, we're coming at the break time here in just a few minutes, maybe 10, 15 or so. Chris, would you like to remind listeners? There's bound to be a few out there, new ones, of what you've got planned as far as your, epic journey along the east coast of the Americas, kicking off, starting things out of Key West, Florida, and then heading up north to Appalachian Trail. And
I'm not sure how to say the town, but it's Calais or something like the. I mispronounced it, but anyway, it's in Maine, a city. That's the termination for the trail for the Greenway. And then I'll jump on. So that's the East Coast Greenway, and it goes all the way from Key West, Florida, up to Calais, Maine, or I'm probably butchering it, but that's what it looks like when I read it. And I'll actually do the best I can to do a 360 virtual tour type deal of the Greenway Trail, so it'll be added to the Google Maps, and you'll see the line and whatnot, and then jump on the Appalachian Trail after I get done with the Greenway and head south to Georgia, so back to where I'm from, and it's be the first to do it and the first to do the mapping of the 360 and all that kind of stuff, Street View, whatever you want to call it.
You'll be the first to do this?
Yeah, the first to do both the Greenway Trail biking and then the Appalachian Trail.
Okay. Well,
going down.
Look, you better get on top of this then before. You better get on top of it sooner rather than later. I guess.
I mean, it's gonna be
someone will scoop your idea.
It's gonna be a year-long journey, and I've been planning for a few years to get to this point to be able to actually do this. So it's not something that you're just gonna like, oh, I'm gonna go do this now. If you have all the gear and you're, the money and everything to do the thing, then yeah, go ahead and do it. But I kind of put the idea out there, so I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, well, we had with our pirate coin, it turned out being Pirate Pay. Lasted, I mean, that project, you guys should all know about by now. If you've looked into the link that we provided here, and we could do it again if you're not up to speed. The Digital Treasure Island. You can find the information off of the main website, but. Yeah, people, They take your ideas and run with them, and you can't really blame them, I guess, if they're
Yeah, for
crooks.
sure.
That's
But I
what
mean,
criminals.
I don't think that anybody will be doing all of what I'm doing. But
Right,
if they
right. So,
the
but
biking and the
basically,
360,
this spring,
adding to the Street View.
you're looking at this spring, correct?
Yeah, I'm like a month away, maybe.
No.
Yeah, I'll be in Key West mid-February to early March.
Yeah, you gotta. Okay, I see. Because it's warmish.
Yeah, I'm looking at the weather, trying to see what the weather's going to be like, and yeah, planning by
okay. All right. Hey, I gotta duck out in the other room just for a few minutes. So why don't we do just a kind of round the horn sort of thing where people can share their personal details, let the public know who each of you is, who they're connecting with, and how they can keep in touch if they're so inclined. I'll be back in about 5. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and lead the way with. Right now, my only source of social media is minds.com, and you can find me at Chris Dogood, and it's ChrisDoogod is the @ when you go to minds.com. And yeah, you can hit me up there and follow the journey. And if you subscribe to my or to Minds Plus and other content that I'll list as paywalled, then you'll be able to get the early content. So yeah, just check it out. And if I get other social medias, I'll add links there so you can find me wherever. But yeah, thanks. Pass it on.
I'm Vinny Eastwood, Vinny with a Y, because it's the most important question. And Eastwood, go ahead and make my news. And I've been doing a radio show on Ground Zero Radio, which is also broadcast in video to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch while it's live, which is midday New Zealand Standard Time, which is 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on US Sundays. And we do that every week for between 1 and 2 hours on the Ground Zero Radio Network, as well as Kiwi Radio, which you can find the links for on the Vinny Eastwood Show.com. I've got a 17-year track record of activism. I've done thousands of interviews with massive truth movement movers and shakers, notably David Icke and Mark Passio, even brought them on a show together. And the whole vibe of the show is not so much about keeping up to track with the news, because the news is like, as the Washington Post said, the first draft of history. It's more of a conversation than an interview. You get these people who've done a lot in their life. They may have suffered quite a bit, and we get to know them in a relaxed and what you might say easy environment to listen to, so that by the end of the show, instead of being stressed out about the whatever the fear porn, flag waving kind of stuff that's going on of the day, you actually by the end of a broadcast will feel relaxed and be able to just go to sleep at night, because often people are losing their sense of humor, and they're simultaneously losing their friends and their family to the fact that they now know what's going on, or at least know more about what's going on than their friends or family do, and their friends and family don't want to listen to them or talk to them. And so they come to people like me, having relief from that sort of feeling of loneliness, like nobody understands you and nobody cares. At least the Vinny Eastwood Show does. So I'll pass the mic on to the next person in the section. Go right ahead, guys.
Just gotta say, definitely subscribe to Vinny Eastwood and all his ventures. Can't believe, if you don't know who Vinny Eastwood is, you should be ashamed of yourself if you call yourself some kind of freedom movement type of person. Like, this guy is way on top of the list of like original gangster, like opening people's minds. So definitely follow, help him out.
Or in Italian, they call me the oregano gangster.
It's
because
so
it's an Italian herb. But yes, you're welcome for that, by the way. Who else have we got next? Is it going to be Sonia?
Sure. Sure, I'll hop in here. That was hilarious. BTW. Okay. So yeah, I've got some T-shirts going on and stuff. There's different folks that I have T-shirts of theirs on my website as well that I'm facilitating for them, like within the vacuum. He's got several different mandala designs, which are awesome. I'll pop his link in the chat and also in the Skype chat. And I just put out a shirt today, which I'm going to throw into the chat, which is funny. Benny might like this one because of your sense of humor, possibly. But it simply says, "Don't be shilly." I think it's hilarious. So there's that. And then a bunch of other T-shirts that aren't necessarily your normie type of T-shirt. It's more for folks that like have a bigger perspective or wider perspective or different perspective, however you want to say that. But yeah, so there's that. And then we've got Jaffe's T-shirts as well, which I'll throw a link in there too in the chat so that folks have access to that sort of thing. And he's also got coffee mugs because he likes that sort of thing. So that, and that's pretty much what I got going on right now. Nothing new. My son was released and he's doing wonderful, and I'm so happy for him. He's doing great, and him and his sister are just like loving being together finally after all these years. So yeah. So yeah, so other than that, I will throw it out to the next bro on here. Whoever that is, I don't know. Let's go Roger, Isaac, one of you guys, baby.
Go ahead, Roger. I think Roger is not here.
Probably not.
Well, oh yeah, my project is called Within the Vacuum. I'm a musician, artist. I'm also creating this, the Creative Hub, which is a mix of IRL groups of artists and musicians that are using blockchain technology to create new systems, new regenerative systems to create marketplace for musicians and artists as well. So yeah, you can find me on minds.com. I also, well, I did years ago a Python algorithm that creates mandalas. So part of that project is the t-shirts that I have on Sonia's store, galacticfire.com/mandalas. So those are actually pretty nice. And I'm about to release a new album soon, I hope, called Energy Field. And well, working a lot all the time. It's what I do.
I totally forgot the website. Thanks for throwing that in there, Isaac. Galacticfire.com, TEC. There we go. That's important.
Awesome. Yeah, the best t-shirt store in the world.
Ever.
Yeah.
She's definitely working on it. It's a growing. It's expanding, and she's doing a lot of great job, of course. So there's a picture of Leonard Peltier. I guess I'll call him. I'll refer to him as Peltier if we have him on the show, and he instructs me to do as such. So I mean, 50 years in prison for, there was a movie actually. Val Kilmer do you remember the movie with Val Kilmer back in the day? It was like Thunderheart. Is that the name? I think it, and had to do with, it opened with him driving across this city bridge. I'm not sure what city exactly, but Badlands, Springsteen's Badlands, Sonia's favorite rock and roll artist, Springsteen. But it's a great opening scene. Yeah. And it ends up, well, it takes him and his fellow, I think they're FBI agents onto the reserve to investigate one thing or another. And it's not even really loosely based on the Pine Ridge business, although I'd have to revisit just for the particulars. So if somebody wants to do a quick DuckDuckGo search, Kilmer Thunderheart, I might be off with the title there as well. So let's check out what else we've got here as far as and by the way, he's not going to be released till February 18th, just a few days after Valentine's Day, and his health isn't the greatest right now either, and supposedly needs to see a doctor as soon as possible. And where he's currently being held, they don't really have the sort of medical facilities and resources to treat him and to even, I guess, to do a proper assessment. So sounds pretty horrible, unfortunately. Not good at all. Martin Taylor out of the UK, mourning cyber citizens from the UK. Engaged citizens. Vinny was using this, the term activists. I myself, even that engaged citizen is one way of looking at things in a similar vein. And then you have people that want to argue over that. The semantics, I guess. Engaged, human ultimately. And then even if you look, I think you look in according to Jordan Maxwell, the definition in Black's Law Dictionary, that human actually, does anyone know what that means? What the definition according to Black's Dictionary of Law for human is? It's monster. Can't hear you, Sonia. Monster.
It's because I was muted, Jeffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, monster.
Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that something? So, this is coming from a guy named Black, too, that, or maybe a family, a black, not that they're a black family, because, hey, we couldn't go there. That would be, be immediately branded racist. So, yeah. And what is up with all these?
Already immediately branded racist because of your race?
Yeah. And white papers. You can't have those anymore. White papers.
Yeah. Right.
Those have got to go.
Stupid.
No, they got to go.
Stupid.
They got to go.
Yeah, out the window with all those.
Mm-hmm. Someone is beat up and they're pounded. Coming out all black and blue.
They have a black eye.
Yeah, and you can't have that. It's just gotta.
This would be a bruised eye or something.
Check in with the Department of
what you can say.
Mm-hmm.
Department of Language.
Yeah, I got accused of I got accused of racism when I was playing chess with somebody because I picked the white pieces. I was just like, what the fuck?
That's right. Yeah, that's
How
how
dare
bad
you?
It's just the mental illness out there.
What kind of guy are
On the
you?
left
I mean,
side of
come on.
things.
Oh,
That was the thing. What was it? Professor Ed Dutton, the jolly heretic, I had him on my show, and he says that basically being of the left political persuasion is an indicator of mental illness. And it's a chicken and egg thing, you know. Are you mentally ill and therefore vote left? Or do you vote left and then with the ideology become mentally ill?
I think voting is just a mental illness by itself. Come on.
Tis an exercise in futility, but of course it's always encouraging to be on the winning side. We're winning. We don't have to pay attention to what our elected representatives are doing because we won. We voted them in.
Right.
Hey, that's a good point.
Okay, guys.
The textbook definition of insanity, I'm not sure if you just cover this or not, but yeah, to repeat the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So that's why I'm just on the fence myself, you know. The likes of there's a lot of Americans out there that and they have every right to be hopeful. But with the Biden administration, there's no doubt they've destroyed the country. There's no no doubt about that in my mind whatsoever. As far as the border is concerned, and the economy itself, and all sorts of societal, fentanyl, the drug issue, of course. So, but a lot of it seems to be, and Trump has come along and campaigned on, policies stating that he would bring order to the chaos that Biden has unleashed, and that's exactly how the Freemasons operate. The whole and call them what you want, Illuminati, the New World Order. That's their modus operandi: creative destruction, order out of chaos.
It's what was it called? The Hegelian dialectic. You create a problem. From that problem, panic ensues, and from the panic, people will accept whoever apparently has a solution. And so, you just create a problem and then give people the solution, and hey, now they trust you, and now you got more power over them. Because they've been using it for a long, long time.
Now, karma.
There's no reason for them to stop using that methodology because it works.
Oh, right, yeah. Along with bread and circuses as well. Let's not forget. A lot of bread and circuses. So, establishment media is probably quite happy that Trump has found his way back into power. Without him, I guess, that they would supposedly, so the story goes, have a lot less to cover and to write about. So, anyways, Karma loved talking about here, and I'm not sure what she might be alluding to. Was it his Roman, gladiatorial salute, or what exactly? But interesting, considering how Musk's view of Jews. I'm not sure the context we're looking at there exactly, but did everyone see the salute that Musk? He's on drugs or he's just manic. He's not. There's obviously he's not a normal dude at all. Not even close to being. Not that it's need be normal. It's not necessarily even good to be normal. It's okay to be. I would argue okay to be a little weird and out there at times, but it gets to a point as well where it's repeated. Whoops, I gotta change the settings over here to the slideshow. But yeah, you gotta, I don't know, dial it down a little bit, man.
I was thinking about this the other day that my siblings, and I'm pretty sure this isn't an isolated thing, if I was being bad or annoying or stupid or weird, they would tell me about it, and in ways I would be socially punished for it, and some way teasing and so on and so forth, because I wasn't in charge. I wasn't paying everybody. I was just one of the brothers, you know. And I think that what happens is, once you get to a certain position, a lot of people are too afraid to tell you those things, to make fun of you or saying you're being a bit weird, bro, or to crack on you or ground you down or henpeck you or something like that. So there's now no reason for you to be restrained in how you communicate with people and the things that you do. You can just do whatever. Now, I'm not sure if that's necessarily a bad thing, but there's got to be people out there who need somebody who they trust, who cares about them, maybe a family member, maybe a close friend, who can tell them when they're doing things a bit weird and they need to pull their head in.
You would hope so. That's what real friends do, right? When you've got, as one of my university professors, the way he put it, he was a teacher of literature, creative writing, and so forth. A real friend is someone who tells you when you've got a booger hanging out of your nose, you know, whereas everyone else will just, they won't even address it. They'll pretend as if it's not even there. But I like to, and I myself, I like to think that I am that sort of person, that I will, you know, draw that to people's attention, even complete strangers, if necessary. And it's not to be mean or anything. It's just to try to help them, and maybe say, hey, you might want to think about this. And if I guess if they say, oh, that's part of my style, you know, then this is my fashion statement I make to the world, with boogers hanging out of my nose. And okay,
But instead they've got the Twitter feed, like, algorithm, and it's all tuned to whatever narrative they want to portray. So it's like charging him, or, you know, getting him and everybody else to follow, like, yeah, woo, cheer him on. Good thing,
yeah, right,
yeah,
yeah. It especially helps when he's suspending anyone, that who knows why we're suspended from X. But it's real weird that we had our account. You guys know about this, I would imagine, because I keep harping on about the whole thing. And we've reached out to them on one occasion, and we could try again, I suppose. That's what we've been advised to do. But it is quite odd why we got suspended in the first place. You know, really, really strange. They kept sending us these silly, you know, those CAPTCHA type tests, where it's like, click on all the fire hydrants. Okay, now click on all the crosswalks. You know, okay, you know, get all the bikes. And you ever notice how when they ask you to do that, you basically get everything, except that if you look really close, like really, really close, because with normal eyes, you can't see these things, but right on the edge of one of the little frames, the squares that they were wanting you to click onto, there's like a little, the end of a bike handle or something, you know, or just the smallest part of just the slightest little fractional reflection of the crosswalk that they've got in the picture. It's ridiculous. So, but I don't know. Yeah, but you're so right. Of course. Now, are they open sourced, or X? Can people actually see their code or not? Roger, do you know anything about that? You're sort of the techiest dude we have on board here, I think, aren't you? Or is it proprietary, the X code, or anyone for that matter? Sonia throwing their hands up. Not really, yeah, neither here nor there. So, all right, we'll move on, I guess. to, I suppose, the commercial break is what we're looking at. Everyone's had the chance, of course, to add their 2 cents, not only regarding current issues of the day, and we got to talk about the Middle East a little more. I think that's what I like to do. And returning after the break, we haven't touched on that tar baby. It's probably the last thing you want to do is touching tar babies. Not what most are typically advised to do, but we're going to go there, whatever the case. So it's pretty sad to see this this sham of ceasefire where Israel continues to just murder people outright, unarmed citizens. There's a story of people returning under what they had been informed were ceasefire conditions.
But they threw rocks at them. Come on.
I didn't think they didn't even throw rocks. They were just walking home to Rafah, supposedly. And you know how it is. Israel is just like, okay, got their satellite technology and drones and everything else and bombs away because they might be hiding some Hamas people. Might be they providing cover for the Hamas people down below in those tunnels under the ground, under the earth, or whatever. Any lame excuse they can come up with. Although it is interesting, in the light of all this, that Israel's defense minister has also recently, just in the last 24 hours, stepped down, handed in his resignation. Well, opposition, anyone of any integrity whatsoever, you would think, really, is asking that Netanyahu do the same, follow suit in resigning. But the thing about it is, well, that's what October 7th was all about in the first place. I stand by my position. I'm sticking to my guns. The flintlocks, the flintlocks that we have here on board the Robin Hood, that it clearly was an inside job. And to just the way that the established media goes on and on and on, it's circular reasoning where you're assuming the very thing that's should be argued for in the first place. There's a Latin term, it escapes me at the moment, but yeah, begging the question is also what it's known as. So, I mean, how much more obvious would it have to be for October 7th to, have been an inside job? And that's one of the reasons, interestingly, why this Israeli, the nation's highest ranking Minister of Defense, why he resigned, because of the failures, supposedly, on October 7th. That's how the story goes. So I'm not sure if maybe you can together put on your collective thinking caps and that issue or any others, including something that's just come to mind here. So before I forget, do better. You need to reach out. I would say, once again, remind you, RFK Jr., he's Mr. Nature Guy, and make America healthy again. Nothing
like
more.
I said, it's going to be 9 months of, or I don't know, 7, 8, some odd months. So I'm going to be reaching out as I'm on the trail and actually showing people what I'm actually doing, because speaking about it and, writing some fancy little thing, I'm not the one that I've never put proposals and all that kind of stuff in. So,
well, if we were back on X, we could easily tag the guy and see where that went, with information outlining, your plans, obviously.
Yeah, but like I said, having just a tag to me saying, "Hey, I'm doing this," is going to be like speaking to the wind, versus having actual content of video of me on the trail, and talking about it and whatnot is going to be a lot better advertising and getting the information out there.
DK-spiracy, Svetlana Savinkov, it looks like have shown up and dropped into the D Live end of things. I seem to have missed them via the chat, the peanut gallery, but that's what we're hearing from Sonia here, so good stuff. Utah, YouTube, TikTok, and many more. Doge is going to F some people up, says Roger. Maybe you can flesh that out once we return from the break. One thing I think is quite interesting isn't that the same acronym, Department of Government Efficiency, that they use, that's in the lead up to all this, the Doge coin, that Musk has been promoting for some time. I believe that's so. But the Zuckman, that was just embarrassing. I've never really considered him he's just not alpha at all, and the Zuckman but he has changed his hair, so that's a start, I guess, right? He's more of a flare, more of like a perm, what do they call those things, Jufros? So, and he's rocking, kissing ass is what Roger's saying here, but also checking out some cleavage according to David, Patrick Bet David, one of the clips that they shared. I've yet to get around to actually checking out, but that's the deal on that front. He's a wandering gaze, checking out some other man's wife's bust line. Musk is kissing ass. Yeah, well, it's certainly ingratiating himself with the Trump administration. Has he left Mar-a-Lago since the election? I really don't know if he has. So, but anyways, we'll have to catch up with these comments. There's quite a lot. People are really laying loose here today. So, it's too bad. With that being the case, once you cross the 100 comment threshold with people chiming in here, that we receive a notification, congratulations, sort of notification via Restream that we're then encouraged to share on X, but because we're currently suspended, it's not, it's just less opportunity for us, along with the fact of being blocked.
Are you able to bring up any of the comments on screen and read them out?
No, because we're working off of two different browsers. Well, I tell you what, we could give that a try, I guess. We could bring up Restream if we're logged in on this computer. Yeah. So
yeah, if you go Restream, it should have a feature that you can pop it up on screen.
We got it on the other computer. I'm looking at it right now. Nice big TV screen. But we're live streaming just right off the laptop. We've got the two devices networked together though, and that really does the trick. It helps to offset the resource demands and load, as it were. So, but that's a great suggestion. In fact, we'll look into that after the break. Okay, so Red Dragon Herbs and Teas. After everyone sees to it that they're muted out, with any order of $25 or more, pretty good deal, wouldn't you say? $25 or more is all it's required for you to unlock 10% savings. All you simply have to do is let Ryan know one of two things, either simply Pirate Radio or Pirate Code. Check out the web links in the show description end of things, and that'll help to further get the job done. Meanwhile, on the CannaSense Cannabis Collective front, our referral code is simply 5813. Drop by there, check out the great selection of items that they have available, CannaSense Cannabis Collective, and let us let us know how they work for you, essentially. If they prove to be just what the doctor ordered or not. We'll be back in just a flash here, folks. Do not touch that computer mouse or radio dial.
Medical cannabis is now legal by telemedicine. Get the medicine you need by getting reviewed for a medical cannabis card. Contactless appointments available at CannaSense.com. For as low as $39, you can get reviewed for a medical cannabis card. That's CannaSense.com for a licensed medical cannabis doctor review. CannaSense.com has all the information you need to get connected with a doctor for a $39 medical cannabis appointment. CannaSense.com. CannaSense is common sense.
Catering exclusively to the Des Moines, Iowa area and beyond, Red Dragon Herbs and Teas is a small, family-owned business dedicated to the creation of only the finest quality artisan herbal tea blends. Drawing upon many of the world's most richly established customs and traditions, Red Dragon Herb's mission is about more than just getting their products out to the market. They also strive to help educate their customers on the wider benefits, history, and folklore of all their plants. Of course, any seasoned pirate knows when they're fixin' to tango with the Kraken, you best be powered up with at least one of the finest select quality premium items freely offered via Red Dragon Herbs and Teas wide inventory. Choosing from any of their caffeine-free headache relief or rest and relaxation blends, history has proven their products among the best sources of scurvy prevention and vitamin supplementation. Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief.
Ahoy, Captain Sinclair.
All right. After that brief technical snafu, we are back, reminding you that Red Dragon Herbs and Teas, bringing you guaranteed homegrown health relief, is a great way to go. That, of course, and as always, the CannaSense Cannabis Collective. So, got maybe an hour tops here left with the live stream. Show segment number 304 of World Pirate Radio News. Myself, as always, your host and trustee guide to navigating your way through these often all too intrepid digital seas, Jaffe Ryder. We have a whole great slate of people that have joined us here from all various walks of life and regions of the world. We may have lost one here for at least the time being. It looks like Isaac, in fact, within the vacuum. So I'm not sure. Maybe everyone's got their schedules, of course. So we won't take it too personally. Maybe just a little. That's okay. I think it was the Trump. It was the Trump meme here that probably did it. Left him triggered, poor guy. So, but yeah, Isaac out of Costa Rica, aka Within the Vacuum over on Minds. We got Roger West Frankfort, Illinois. Do Better, courtesy of Atlanta, Georgia. Vinny Eastwood out of New Zealand, and Sonia Galactic, someone who calls Phoenix, Arizona home. Well, folks, I'm not sure if it's to the Middle East and the one thing I harp on about this time and time again, but we're endlessly gaslit I think Vinny brought that term up a little earlier, of course, and it's something that really is a central part of our world and the way that government and vested interests, the power elite, the plutocrats essentially, with their dominant ideology that they endlessly propagate, catapult the propaganda was what Bush, Skull and Bones 43's MO, catapult the propaganda. What was he trying to tell us there exactly? But, we need to clearly, for me, it's been, things have got to the point, you can say progressed. Does that mean I'm progressive? Well, I like to think so. Not in the way that we're told you're supposed to be progressive necessarily, but in my own way of looking at it, absolutely. Yeah, and awakening. How about that? Huh? From sleep to awakening, and realizing how we've been so endlessly hoodwinked and deceived. So, any issue you look at, the whole man-made climate change nonsense, total fake, total BS. Don't buy it. And these are the sort of things that'll get you shut down via places as, for example, to where we're connecting with and live streaming through this go around BoobTube. I often forget about that. Also often forget to launch our Telegram. Sonia, way to go. Man, that's okay. So, but I mean, what other? I mean, every issue. The election 2020, can't question that. The experimental kill shots. No. The WHO's got that covered. Trust the WHO. I mean, if there's one thing that I could Trump that I do like, at least on the surface of things, is the fact of his, as per what was the case back in 2016. One of the first executive actions that he took was withdrawal from the World Horse Shit Organization. How about that? Can we say that on YouTube and not get have to face their wrath? So, but I mean, look, hey, and how about this? 3 things: World Ufology, JFK, and RFK Jr. I'd like to touch on those 3 areas before we call it a night here, or a day, depending on what part of the world you're based out of. So before we get to that, though, just going to apologize to Karma Love for forcing her to wait around, not being able to pee for half an hour, and just sitting on it is what she's saying. So her and Sonia were back and forth on that issue. Kind of comical. People have to check out the comment portion of things via YouTube to get a little more up to speed. Also, Martin Taylor had a really great comment down here as well, where he's letting us in on the more esoteric. Hugh is what Martin says was one of the original creation deities in Kemet. Oh, we're not going to Billy Carson territory now, are we? He's been definitely making a few waves as of late. Not in a good way either, unfortunately, but it's important to have the dialogue, whatever the case. So with Billy and others, more kind of straight-laced biblical scholars, as it were. Hugh was one of the original creation deities in Kemet, whose word Hugh birthed man, so human. So there we go. So that was really kind of cool. I reckon, as did Sonia. So I think, yeah, that about does it. where are we going now? RFK Jr., his uncle, of course, and transparency on that front, but also the UFO business, or UAP, if you will, or even drones. Do better, Chris. Go ahead. You got your hand raised there. While you're doing that, I will try to see if we can access, bring up, as was requested earlier, the comments here through Restream.
Yeah, instead of the World Horseshit Organization, it should be the Woke Horseshit Organization.
Yeah, that's even better. That's right. Yeah. Woke horseshit oracle. I don't know. Just work with me. Work with me. So, is that all you had to say?
I just wanted to also clarify on the first to do the trails type thing. It's not like the first to do the East Coast Greenway in one try. It's not the first to do the Appalachian Trail. It's the first to do both. So it'd be going from one to the other in 1 year, I guess, or one attempt. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that. And I guess the first to do a couple other things along the way. We'll figure those out as they come.
Still not sure if you're going to lend your mechanical services
like I said, if somebody has a shop and tools and everything ready to go, parts, I don't have to wait around. All I got to do is show up and use my, handyman skills and do the thing. Then yeah, I can make something happen. But if I have to, source tools and parts and all that, and it take days or weeks to, no, I don't think that's going to happen.
We've just had someone show up in the chat end of things, along with picking up our 100 message notification, congratulatory message. So that's great. Sorry, we can't exit out, folks. Well, yeah, it's good, but that's as far as it goes. Chris Latelle, there is a great guest for you, Vinny, if you're looking for anyone. This gentleman claims to be, and I have very, little reason to doubt him at this point. He's got a book and some, testimony that really covers all the bases. Survivor of the Montauk Project, Camp Hero Montauk Project. So if that's something that interests you, Chris Latelle is your man. You'll want to connect with him and have a little head. Have you heard of the Montauk Project or Camp Hero, Mr. Eastwood? No relation to Clint, might I add, as far as we know. Maybe he stepped away too. He's probably headed off to God only knows where. But also, Chris, seeing as how you're out there listening, yeah, feel free to connect with us here through Skype. I think you're still in the main room, so shouldn't hopefully be too much of a problem. Was that Vinny trying to come in?
No, I've been here the whole time.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
What for?
You're muted out. No, we were talking about Chris Latelle being a survivor of the Camp Hero Montauk Project.
Oh, yeah? Like Stuart Swerdlow?
No, that'd be interesting. Actually, I'd love to hear if Chris wanted to connect and share a few things regarding Chris. I'm not sure he's Chris or Stuart Swerdlow, who apparently rather controversial individual, a bit of a reputation, not as much as the likes of your not so good friend, not even frenemy, really. Who the hell was that guy that tried to undermine?
We're not talking about Santilli.
Yeah, Pete Santilli. That's right. Yeah, poach your brand name and so forth. So, yeah, but no, Stuart Swerdlow Actually, we reached out to him on one occasion. I think he wanted to know. His first question was, "Well, how many people do you actually manage to reach?" Kind of deal. So, and that in itself, it's problematic actually. But we cover all kinds of platforms in real live time, and then we archive it. Of course, it's up on YouTube, Fakebook, BitChute. Eventually, when we take care of things manually, Rumble and Odyssey. So that's a pretty good start, and it's probably altogether it's 1,000 or more at least. Just right now, our reach, it's not much, but it's more than zero. So it's 1,000. We could do better, of course, but hey, I'm not. It's whatever. It is what it is, right? And it's in the hands of the people, the listeners out there, people that dig what we're doing and want us to reach a wider audience, which we'd really appreciate because we can stand to benefit from more support and donations. So by all means, yeah, like, comment, share, folks, and subscription, notifications, same. Passing word on to friends, family, and coworkers. It's how the magic really manages to manifest. So, do you have any thoughts regarding, like, you had him on your show, didn't you? Stuart Sverdlow? Or you do know about him, of course.
Yeah, of course. I had him on the show multiple times. I mean,
Yeah.
we had a great time. I remember one time I come on and my computer, I'm not sure if you guys have had this experience, but I need a new computer every couple of years because I just thrash them. I create so much content. And at one point I had Stuart on the show and he says, "Oh, Vinny, somebody needs to get you a new Mac." And one of his followers who'd never heard of me bought me a brand new iMac, which I'm actually staring at right now. I've given it to my ex. I'm at her place at the moment, helping her take care of her boy who's fractured his arm.
You're babysitting the
other night.
ex's your ex's child?
I mean, he's our child, really, but yeah. So I have to come over to her place to.
I get confused with all your
ex.
Well, but you've got so many. How many exes do you have, man? Come on.
I just two. There's my ex-wife and my ex. That's it.
And when you talk about your ex, that's your most recent serious girlfriend that you were with for like 2 years or 3 years, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah.
Not naming any.
Just down the road.
Not naming any names.
So it makes it easy to come and look after the boy and help her out and take care of her sometimes who's sick and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're not a deadbeat dad, obviously, right?
Yeah, I'm quite caring. I kind of try to go
the
extra mile because if you've got a child with somebody, I mean, you owe them a lot. It feels like to me, and you have to do what you can to help out where you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So, and so this is your ex-wife, then. You're referencing as compared to your ex most recent the serious girlfriend, love interest that you were sort of teamed up with for a while there. So, but anyways, we do have the no. What kind of an answer is that? Is that the way that? Oh my God, that's how Kiwis.
That is a Kiwi thing. We have a saying, yeah, nah.
Oh my God! You know what that is also is it's a Korean thing.
It's the verbal equivalent of the Indian head wiggle.
Yes. Like, yes. I know. Yeah, and when we say Indian, you mean not not North American Indian, but I guess more the continent, Dharmic history. India is it is a continent, I believe. So, anyways, I have a friend who spent a fair deal of time in India. He loves the whole Eastern philosophy business, yoga, and sitting at the feet of the master, the guru. And he comes back from India, and he's got that head wiggle thing down, man. And this is a guy who was born in Germany, grew up with me and a lot of others in Canada, of course, central interior British Columbia. But I don't know what it is, if this sort of thing just rubs off on a person or what exactly. Maybe, you know, in a past life, he was someone who spent a little time in India. Could have been. Jethro, welcome back, Jethro.
The rest of us don't even be able to interpret it, but apparently there's a wiggle for yes, a wiggle for no, and a wiggle for maybe. And to us, it all looks the same, but to them, they can figure it out for somehow. So yeah, it's one of those things. Sorry for interrupting.
Interesting. Huh. I had no idea. That's, yeah, so we got Jethro here, courtesy of, he's out of Australia, actually. We have a few Kiwis that do connect with us here in real live time, along with people that do check out the archived end of things too. So hopefully, as you can see, we do now have the restream up on screen share via the notebook device. So as per was Vinny's request, but you know, we can flip easily enough, just kind of flip back and forth. It's as simple as just clicking on a few buttons. And actually, more than that, kind of messed up back to the Skype itself. Sometimes you screw up. Oh man, who is that super duper dude there? Wow, that is so cool. That's what's the NFT? Is that what they call those things? Sonia, you're shaking your head, Sonia. Isn't that just so cool, man? Like macho man. He had the Village People perform for him at his inauguration. Did you see that? I heard about it.
He's
Chris?
not going to look like that drinking 12 sodies a day.
Yeah, man. I don't even know how Trump's even still alive.
Yeah, that's retarded.
Given, I mean, his health, his dietary, you know, decisions. So do you even think is he gonna, without being targeted, you know, physically harmed by someone with ill intentions, might he be his own worst enemy? Oh, because of, you know, not taking better care of himself and his diet at his age. You know,
well, I don't know. It's just a narcissistic, psychopathic thing, I guess. You know, they just do what they want to whoever they want and whatever way they please, and don't expect to see consequences for it.
Right.
Yeah, there's a buttload of nanotech in all sodas anyway, so. Yeah.
Nanotech? Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, graphene apparently as well.
Graphene oxide?
Probably other stuff too, I'm sure.
Something like that, you know, and of course, the bugs.
Yeah, I'm gonna ditch the silly Trump photo here, so bear with me. I just put up there as a bit of a lark. So, but he was trying, I guess, to sell, and I really am on the fence. Like with him or any other politician, if I see a policy, hear of a policy, and then see the policy, the way it's being implemented, and the impact it's having on people wherever they are, then maybe I'll start having some stronger opinions based on the implementation and the results, whatever it is. But until then, it's like, you know, let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see is my attitude and approach. Whether it's Castro in Canada, you know, Biden as it was, Obama, it doesn't matter, whoever the politician is. So, my attitude and approach. Oh, we got Christian, turn your speakers down, matey. Yeah, welcome. Turn your speakers down, and maybe let's first a brief introduction, and then let's hear your thoughts. And maybe I think you crossed paths a time or two with Stuart Svetlo, so who claims to have some ties to the, I believe, Russian. Was it Russian or Ukrainian? I thought it was Russian. The the Romanov family or some, you know, pretty aristocratic bloodline, as it were. So, yeah, it is what it is. But Christian, yeah, just a brief introduction, if you will, and let us in on the whole, your experience. I think personal, directly having met Fairtlow, or what you've heard, and in relation to his Montauk track record.
I'm Chris Laterreur, and I was actually traveled in the same car as Stuart Swardlow, like to Montauk. So I saw him a few times. He lived 15 minutes away from my place when we were kids. So
what's the age difference, and why would you be traveling in the same car with him?
I don't know. I saw Swardlow like a few different place, like different age in his profiles, I think he's not giving his real age nowhere, because I'm born in 75 and the guy wasn't 5 years older than me, he should be in the same area, close to 50 years old. So yeah.
So, and that was your dealings with him were not extensive, were they, or just the fact of crossing
6
paths?
hours traveling to New York in the same car, and we were travel a few places. I met him through a few appointments. So
it goes back a while, doesn't it? I mean, that's quite a few years now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think last time I saw Swardlow was probably 4 or 5 years after Montauk. We were in a working integration program, and that's the last time I saw Stuart.
Working integration program.
Well, yeah, they were taking the roughest kids of school and trying to integrate them to work. So instead of going to school, we were doing work at different stage, just to learn how to work, and because we were lined up to be fuck ups. So so yeah, that's the we're learning how to work integration. I did it with the young kids, at my shop, later in life. So yeah.
So you're neither here nor there with the guy. Neither neither good nor bad. Chris, you're neither here nor there.
Hey, Jeffy, you're muted.
Jeffy.
Yeah. Hang on.
Jeffy Ryder, you are.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. Yeah, I was eating. Hey, I was stuffing my face with popcorn here.
He's singing.
What? I was stuffing my face with popcorn here off camera.
That's so awesome.
So I had to mute out.
I can never get a word in edgewise with this guy.
Yeah.
Right.
Knock it off. I
can finally talk on this show.
Roger, stop it. Knock it off, Roger. You're talking too much. What do you think? You own this bloody joint or what? So no, but just briefly, you
should get the timer on.
Can he not tell that
there's a silver lining to every cloud?
Does he not know?
Hey, Vinny, I've learned from the best, Vinny. I followed your work for years. So what do you expect?
He should do, but
I don't think he knows he's muted.
What?
Yeah, I can talk now.
Oh shit! I see. I unmuted it. I unmuted it on. This Skype is messed up sometimes. No, here's the thing. You know what? The people out in listener land could hear everything that was going on. It's just that you on Skype could not. So don't worry about it. It didn't. Other than everybody mocking me, which they probably thought was funny anyways. Oh, have to get them on camera. Yeah, there they go, cracking up.
We wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I deserve it. Definitely, enough of a big mouth. I deserve to be attacked verbally.
That was a great laugh, though. Thank you.
Yeah. No, this all I wanted to know, Chris, and then and Vinny, I think, and others might like to have bounce a few items off of you. So you're neither here nor there with Stuart as far as like, oh, he's a wonderful, great guy, or he's a terrible man. You're just kind of you're just neutral, and that's as far as it goes. Is that right?
Well, yeah, like I knew him like just like that, not personally or like just through the project. So I'm yeah. I can't say he's a good guy or a bad guy. I don't know him enough. So like it would be nice to be in contact with him because like what happened there was like he was there too, so
Well, Vinny Eastwood here could probably hook the two of you up.
Yeah, that would be nice. He probably won't want to do it like online, but like at least like so we can talk personally, like cause like yeah.
There you go, Vinny.
And I haven't been able to get a reply out of Stuart for some time.
Is he still alive?
I mean, one can only hope.
I think he's got to be at least, what, 60-ish?
No, he's like around 50, 55.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not joking. Like, check, there's a bunch of different age on like his all his his sites like Facebook and stuff. Like, not one is the right age, so.
And those are his actual profiles, all of them. You're sure about that?
Yeah.
Interesting. Does anyone else have any questions for Chris while we have him here?
I'm just looking into the Project Montauk and seeing all. I've heard of it vaguely, and looking more into it. It seems like it's got a little bit to do with a guy that I watched for a while, Chris Hutchinson. Are any of y'all aware of Chris Hutchinson?
Vaguely, name rings a bell. That's about it.
Man, this guy does some kind of crazy experiments where he takes physical objects and moves them with radio waves.
His name's not Chris. It's Hutchinson Effect, and it's
the Hutchinson Effect.
Yeah, but his first name is
John Hutchinson.
Yeah, he's out of Vancouver.
Okay, yeah.
That might be, you know what? But that might be trick photography too. He might just be turning the camera upside down.
No. He's melting,
I actually ran into
fusing metal stuff. It's so crazy.
I ran into somebody at a dinner party who went out to the desert with John Hutchison and a bunch of other people so he could display how he would do things. He had this machine there and a metal file, that you use for filing away things. And he turned one knob and the file would like float and levitate up, and then turn it off and the thing would flop to the ground. And then he'd turn another knob and it would raise off the ground, split into 3 pieces, and then come back together and then drop on the ground, and it's a solid object, no separation. And then he does another knob, and it raises off the ground, goes white hot, and then turns it off, and then picks it up immediately as it falls on the ground and doesn't get burned.
That is wild.
So, yeah,
you know that the police.
Hutchison Effect. He used to work for Naval Intelligence
out of Canada,
and
was he?
After his discoveries with the work of frequency, there was a lot of backlash, I believe, on him from the authorities. And he was already a little bit mad, but I think he started cross-dressing or something like that.
Yeah,
and,
dude.
That's what I was going to mention. Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to continue to do your what you want to work on. If you want to be able to continue to live and function in this society without being taken out or whatever you want to call it, then you have to act fucking insane as God, nobody can imagine. Like, and they'll be like, oh yeah, nobody's gonna trust what you got to say anymore.
Yeah, you
Right.
have to. If you
Go-
want to
go do your
survive, you
thing.
have to destroy. You have to destroy your own credibility, right? If you're a
Uh-huh.
credible person, that means you're a credible threat. But if you're completely incredible, which I like to think of myself as, then there's no real threat.
Right, right.
His wife's all about it too. So there we go. Yeah, I'll put a link in the chat. This dude did an explicit type interview with him. We went to his house and everything, or whatever. It's really, really super cool. I'll throw it in there. It was recent too. It was only a couple months ago. This guy's all about math and stuff. Well, that's what he has going on. But he talks about like 9/11 and all kinds of stuff, and so it's super interesting. That's where I learned that John was a crossdresser.
Well, do you remember? And that's recent, I guess, is what I think Chris was alluding to, I believe. But back in the day with the Art Bell show, he was on there probably at least twice, I guess. I think once or twice. And Art
I
Rave.
remember him from a kid, like a long time ago. I mean, I'm sure we all heard about him as we were growing up.
On Art Bell?
I don't know. I don't think it was Art Bell. I think I heard of him like on TV or something.
Oh, I see. Well,
like when I was 7 or something.
The authorities, as it turned out, the Canadian authorities, either RCMP or CSIS, which is sort of like Canada's FBI, they absconded with all of his experimental equipment, kind of like what they did with Tesla at the end of his life with his files. But they took everything that John had that was being shipped over, I think, back to Canada from a European location, and I don't know if he ever saw those items again, frankly. So, he's definitely somebody who, and as per what Vinny, the way that he's kind of capping things off here, it really does lead me to, see things in a somewhat different light, clearly, where you have these people. Vinny, you say that these are one friend of yours, or he went out with a few other people into the desert and they were demonstrating the use of his technology, and it was actually, so that solid objects were being, they were basically disintegrating and being reformed right before their eyes.
Levitation, deconstruction, and then reassembly, and fluctuation of temperature. That's what he could make happen to objects with his machine.
That's magic. That's insane. Incredible. So it goes beyond a little more than just the Hutchinson effect, you would think.
Oh yeah, I was gonna add he probably is able to do like healing different things with human and other, biological type.
That'd make him a major threat to Big Pharma, wouldn't it?
Yeah, huge.
So where did he claim to have picked up all of these, all of this knowledge? How did it come about? Did he borrow from?
He used to be in naval intelligence, and after he got out, he started experimenting on his own time.
And he's got a massive collection of military equipment, like old stuff that's, man, he powering like a city almost. It's crazy, the type of equipment he's got.
This is U.S. naval intelligence or Canadian?
I thought it was U.S., wasn't it?
Well, he does live in Canada now, or at least he had for quite a few years in Vancouver.
I mean, that's what happens when you realize how bad the U.S. government is, isn't it? And then eventually you move out of Canada too.
Yeah. Where to next, right? Greenland? Maybe not. So, Yeah. Speaking of which, did you hear that Uri Geller is offering? He has an island that he owns supposedly. Just part of the UK. I think it's on the western side of the UK. People can look into it if they want. Maybe a quick. Don't use Google now. We're nothing like Alex Jones, where he says just Google it. Why does he still do that after all these years? You think he would learn? Like there's something not right there. Just Google it. There are like DuckDuckGo. It's a simple alternative. That promotes online anonymity. So whether they're able to deliver the goods or not, it's another matter. But at least, why not give it a shot? So DuckDuckGo. But yeah, run a search and see what you can come up with there on that front. Maybe whoever cares to, I guess. So, but look, we've got I don't know, 20 minutes maybe here tops, and I think that'll be about it for this go round. Jethro chiming in here via Australia, talking about how they did the same thing with Eric Dollard. Took all his gear back in the 90s.
Yep.
He was a homeless madman for about a decade after that. Who was Eric Dollard? Is he still alive? He may have passed away.
But I'm not too confident about that guy. He seems like he had some knowledge, but at the same time, he was kind of like a con man at the same time. Because I think his experiments, somebody actually tried to build it and it didn't work out, or I don't know what happened with that guy.
Maybe they weren't replicating his apparatus the way that he had things in place.
Yeah, he, like I said, it's. I think it was more of a. Well, I didn't say, but I think it was more of a personality conflict, and maybe some type of I don't know, past traumas that Dollard hadn't dealt with that didn't work out. I don't know. And it could have been that they didn't want it to get out, of course. But yeah, I didn't trust him fully. Like,
where was he based out of? Was he Australian?
No, American. I think he was in the Arizona region, that New Mexico type area, West Texas, maybe.
Wow. Martin Taylor, as you can probably see here with screen share. UFO, JFK, RFK, dark journalist Daniel Litz covers all these subjects. I'm in agreement with DJ. Who's DJ? DJ. I'm not a Billy Carson, Jimmy Church, CIA cabal follower. Well, okay.
Well, we can't all be winners, can we?
We can't all be what? Winners?
Yeah.
Well, what does it mean to be a winner or winning? Who's winning?
I guess the followers of the CIA cabal at the moment. Anyway, we're on the back foot as a freedom movement. Freedom's getting sucker punched left and right. Yeah.
Yeah. Then again, you look at Trump himself. He doesn't, as far as the deep state is concerned, it doesn't exactly seem as if he's really on the same page as them, or at least not as much as they would like him to be kept under their thumb.
It seems to me more like a honeypot, Hey, look, here's the guy who's going to solve all your problems. Stop fighting for freedom. Just support this guy who works for us. I mean, or at least that's what I'd do if I was a ruthless criminal, sociopathic scumbaggery piece of crap with no conscience and more money than God. If I wanted to placate the public and enslave them even further to the point where I could get my technocratic control grid up so that nobody would actually be able to resist it.
Yeah, you should go on the Alex Jones show. Why have you not been?
As long as possible.
Why have you not been on the Alex Jones show, Vinny?
Well, I don't know.
Would you not want to be? What about Coast to Coast?
No, I would totally go on either of those shows. I just never gotten an invite.
Yeah, you never. Yeah.
Have you reached out?
Why would
I have? Yeah, several times. I haven't got a reply.
I never do that myself. So I don't go around asking for interviews with anyone. It's like, just if they're interested, fine. If not, we're busy here doing our own thing.
Need money with the rich folks.
What's that?
Money with the rich folks.
Why have we not been hearing
Now, there's a
more
possibility.
from you, Roger?
There is a possibility, though, that number one, my former producer of American Freedom Radio was Alex Jones's former producer. And he told me the things in the background, what Alex Jones would actually do behind the scenes and stuff like that.
Jack Blood?
So they might be like, oh, we definitely don't want this guy coming on the show. Well, Jack Blood and Danny Romero, respectively, both used to work for Alex Jones, and they mentored me and taught me a lot about my former hero.
Alex Jones, your former hero.
Yeah. I was an acolyte for some time. I was listening to what I would consider too much Alex Jones. The kind of point where you can't have a regular conversation with people because you're so like fully in your head with conspiracies and stuff like that, and the stress of it. That when your wife is asking you, honey, do you want the cupcakes with the purple icing or the yellow icing? And you're like, 9/11 was an inside job.
That's right.
And don't you realize we're all slaves?
Yeah. So, absolutely. No, I get it. And that's why, I would argue like we need to better it's good you're taking time for yourself a little more, and you've kind of come full circle almost. And beware the cult of personality, though, is what I would argue. Beware the cult of personality. #cop. I mean, if that's not enough obvious and, spelling around there for people. Cult of personality.
Well, I had a saying about it at the time, because when I learned, what he was like behind the scenes and what he's like to the people who are supposed to be his friends and stuff like that, I was really crushed.
He's really two-faced is what we sometimes hear then. Is that right?
All right. And what my saying was don't put anybody on a pedestal, because everybody's human, and eventually they will come off that pedestal, and you will be the person who put them up there that is crushed when they tumble.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're just refreshing the browser here. We might as well. And what happens there, unfortunately, with Restream is when you do that, all of the comments are lost. But fear not, we have another computer with monitors, so we can easily, we copy and archive everything that us and the NSA, obviously, but everything that people have to offer in whatever form it is that they share it with us here. So now it's unfortunate, though, for the people here in the roundtable chat that maybe they weren't able to get quite as much of a look-see as they would have liked to. One, before we run out of time, once again, regarding UFO and JFK transparency and disclosure, and the fact that he's talked about how he's going to let RFK Jr., he's got a pretty long leash. He's free to do whatever he wants. Just keep his hands off of Trump's liquid gold, right? Drill, baby, drill. Liquid gold. Those it's always the best type of slogans and propaganda of managing to effectively get inside people's heads, and for them to sort of mindlessly parrot. Well played. So RFK Jr., I'm curious to know what you are speculating could be the case. Are we going to see some major shakeup on the whole, and as far as the world of big pharma is concerned, within the realm of these experimental kill shots? Interestingly, Fauci apparently, and his own family too, Biden's own family pardoned, by the former president. But it's interesting to take note of as well. Apparently, those presidential pardons are only good for the federal jurisdiction, not within the state realm. So, as far as individual states themselves are concerned, and you would think even on a, well, if that's the case, why not local community level too? There's 3 different levels of government essentially, is there not? Places mostly across North America. I think Canada it's the case. Federal, provincial, and local. So, yeah, it would be interesting to see if people like Dr. Mengele, or rather Fauci, Jesuit Tony Fauci, just doing the Lord's work, I guess, right? Having euthanized how many people? So, and we are kind of navigating our way dangerously into, as we live stream here via BoobTube. In fact, I'm almost tempted to cut the feed simply because of that. You cannot say anything, it seems, that challenges the official narrative. Where
did you guys see Dr. Martin, the last video?
Which one?
The last video that Dr. Martin did, that release.
Ah, Martin, Dr. Martin. What's the first thing?
Yeah, like a bald guy.
Yeah. Really smart, kind of sharp, snappy dresser, hot wife.
Yeah. So
David, I think his name. He's a friend of ours, actually, on Fakebook too. Actually, he's engaged in a little bit of our content over the past.
A great guy. He exposed a lot of stuff. Like he worked with doctors and all. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Surprised he's still here with us in the land of the living. Dr. David Martin is and he's
That's it.
Yeah.
And I would recommend you guys to listen to the last video we did, because he figured out a lot of stuff, and it's impressive. It's banned in Canada. I don't know if you guys are able to have it.
It's banned.
Oh yeah.
What?
Then I was in Facebook jail for a week because of that.
Oh my God.
It's that good.
Yeah. Suddenly pro freedom. Zuckerberg is all about pro freedom, is he? Except,
right.
And who knows? I have no idea what's going on with you guys back in Canada. The internet already sucked as it was when I lived there back in the day. Net neutrality, to me, the way it's framed, once again, gaslighting. We add to the left what I've talked about already, and I think others could add. Feel free to add examples how they feed us a line of total bullshit. The man-made climate change, election 2020, the experimental kill shots, and
only propaganda. Only this.
It's all just it's all bullshit. Yeah. So we got to definitely. But David Martin. Oh. Net neutrality, that's what I was going to say, just to be clear. That's even bullshit, too, the way it's framed. Like, they want to emphasize upload speeds and download speeds and rates and limits. Nonsense. That's secondary to the laissez-faire angle. Hands off. Leave it alone. Stop censoring shit. That's net neutrality, is let the information be able to just be out there in the wider cybersphere, as it were, published and produced, and let the people decide. They will. It's the people will let the people work it out themselves. But we've got these algorithms, of course, don't we? And we got so much that's been weaponized and gamed and rigged. And the whole game is rigged. Carlin, he liked talking about that a lot, didn't he, back in the day? Yeah. Deck is stacked, game is rigged, tables tilted, what have you. So, but it's okay, man. It is what it is. And that's the thing, earlier going on about, it's sort of an issue and a theme I like to return to, because, and even with the wife here, for crying out loud, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Stop stressing yourself out, folks, and, sweetheart here on the domestic front over, things that you can't change anyways, even, and if you could, well, hopefully you have the courage and ability, the insight to take care of business, while exercising, what's it called? Discriminating wisdom? Something to that effect. Although we can't have that. Anything that discriminates. That's another term, isn't it? Discriminate. What the hell does that even mean, to discriminate? It just means to choose, doesn't it? You guys, everyone here that's on board with us this week, and everyone out there listening, you've discriminated by virtue of the fact that you clicked on your mouse and you connected with us here while we're doing the show, the live stream, going out to the world. It's, every time you go to a restaurant, order a meal, you're discriminating. What pictures did we choose for this week's slideshow? Leonard Peltier. Oh, isn't that interesting? Well, we must be radical left-wingers. Wait a minute. He's got pictures of Trump. It looks like in a positive light. Ooh, they must be radical right-wingers. They're fascists. No, they're communists. So it's as simple as that, though, frankly. I'd like to break that word down, though, because I think most of us have an idea of what the concept itself means, just to choose. And, which is ultimately what a heretic was back in the day, too, let's not forget. Truth be told, hetesis meant simply that, to choose. And it's a Greek term. So, nothing less, nothing more. Here's Jaffe back on camera as we find ourselves rapidly approaching the top of the hour. I still haven't heard, this UFO disclosure, transparency, the JFK end of things. Is he going to hold true to his pledge and promise? Are we going to see, who really, raise your hand if you honestly think that we're living here in this universe on this one little planet all alone. And that's about as far as it goes. While at the same time not looking up into the sky and realizing that, so the story goes at least, that each of the stars that we see at night, does anyone know what those are? Those stars? They actually are something else as well. We have a star. We only have one. What's
planets
that?
And planets and suns and
that's
galaxies
yeah. Each of the stars is a sun, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Well,
and then some are actually bigger planets that aren't suns, and
really,
actually,
I guess you're right. That's right. Because
full galaxies,
like Venus, shines quite bright at times, doesn't it?
Right.
All right. So yeah, okay. Astronomy is fascinating. I know very little, although with the kids, some of the kids I work with here, anywhere from 6 to 8, basically 5 to 7, 6 to 8 in Korean age. Yeah, that was one of the little scientific. They look at me as if I'm just a total science genius. Of course, these these little. Oh, hang on, I'll zip it. Some chest hair. I think she's. Now she's totally losing it. This is originally not chest hair; it's just a T-shirt. I know Sonia, she wants a little more here, cleavage, like here. Oh, I need some, it's like, oh, I need some air circulation. Oh,
I prefer her cleavage.
Yeah. I can show you. I can show you a shot of my moobs. I'll do it. What's wrong with my moobs? I got sexy moobs. That's the thing. It's that. Speaking of discrimination, there's another example. Why is it that men's, men's moobs are not considered to be all that attractive? Well, women's tits are something that get a lot of people really turned on, supposedly.
I think it's the level of retardation
did he
amongst the human people around.
7 dirty words. Yeah. Well, discrimination programming, kind of like, I think Vincent Eastwood here brought that up at the start of the show.
I think that's a little bit beyond the indoctrination. It's kind of just a biological response type thing. So kind of inherent within the male species to, yeah. Anyways.
But don't women find men's chests attractive? Heterosexual women? They usually do, don't they? Right?
It's the pectorals that they're after.
Right. Right. The pectors?
Pectorals.
Yeah.
Or commonly known as pecs.
Right. Yeah, show me your pecs. Yeah. You peckerhead. How would that look anyways? Would you be a peckerhead if you took your moves, put them on top of your... would that instantly make you a peckerhead? Possibly. Could very well maybe be the case.
I really enjoyed these last few minutes of the show, Jeffy. They're...
Really? It's outstanding, huh? So we gradually deteriorate and into what I'm not sure, but it's going somewhere eventually here. So, yeah, they're talking about dollar. Just to repeat, the homeless madman who, he became mad after they seized all of his equipment, and I'm not sure if he lived anywhere past that 10-year period. Chris here seemed to have been familiar with the story, and was not as much sold on his authenticity as
it's
Hutchinson.
more that they instead of making him look like a crazy person like Hutchinson, they did a better job of discrediting him to make him look like a madman, I guess, because I was definitely left with a bad taste in my mouth after that when I stopped following it.
Don't go down on the guy, and
I need to revisit both. I don't go down on the guy.
Well, what are you doing to going down bad taste in your mouth? Just stop, there's just no bad taste at all. It's like, just don't even worry about it. You still might have to floss once in a while, but
oh jeez.
Yeah. Okay, dollar is an electrical. Just spitballing here, folks. It's pretty bad. Electrical engineer, worked with naval intelligence and the borderland science guys, is what he added to that. And David Wilkes saying he's not deep state. John Trump's Donald's uncle had all Tesla's papers. That's right, actually. And that's a great point. I can't see who's making that. We'll have to make the browser smaller, but it's a really great point because, and they talk Baron Trump, the time traveler. Is everyone up to speed on this? Baron Trump, the time traveler. And you talk about like grooming the next, generation of presidential material. Well, you're probably looking at them right there. Just you watch. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Is it a cartoon
with
book?
all hope, they won't ever make it to be,
Well, who's going? Somebody's got to.
No. We'll have a new, better system. There won't be presidents and shit.
Well,
it'll be else.
Well,
Self-governance. Self-governance.
Well, aren't you doing that now yourself already?
Yeah, working on it. I'm not fully there. I mean, for sure, I have to do the things that, responsibilities and whatnot. But I'm definitely moving towards the trying to be self-sufficient in all ways.
Sure, as should we. It'd be great if we all could do that. And that's kind of one of the reasons why we have the show here. We try to encourage constructive, creative, ideas, suggestions, working to encourage and nurture. Well, you have to check out the homepage. We got it broken down there with the autonomous sort of cosmic sovereignty of each of us as autonomous beings. Of course, that's something that the state does not endorse or like in any way, of course, because they the state preys upon. We are their mark, essentially. They would like to. Who knows to what extent we're already being harvested, our energy supply. But apparently isn't it obvious? We both transmit as well as receive energy in one form or the next, right? It's starting just with thoughts, receiving and transmitting. So, and I would encourage people. Now we probably get kicked off of YouTube for saying something like this. How dare you? This is false medical misinformation. Oh, jeez, ridiculous. That with thoughts, just with meditation instruction is, they're just thoughts. Big deal. Don't get hung up in them. I mean, that's not who we really are. We are not the sum total, or even just one thought or the next, as it may appear to stand on its own. That's not who we are. That's not our ultimate core self or identity, if in fact there actually even is such a thing. So just like what did Bruce Lee, be like water. Be like water. So yeah. John Trump, Donald's uncle, had all the Tesla papers. And Chris, just hang on a second. Let me just finish by saying that, can you believe Trump actually idolized his uncle, looked up to his uncle, John Trump, more than even his father? In a sense that he said his uncle, John Trump, was probably more of an influence on him than his father was. So how about that? But anyways, it is what it is, man. Chris, and then we'll do a little kind of round the horn deal, and I like to kind of wrap it up, folks. It's been a great groovy time, but we've all got things to do, lives to live, and cats to feed, you name it. So houses to clean, laundry to take care of, shopping.
I had fun. Thanks for all the conversations and whatnot, and putting my journey that is coming out into the ethers to get more attention to it, and hopefully, it brings some.
What are you branding your trip exactly? We got to come up with a title that's catchy, something that Chris's, or is it do better? Do better,
Yeah,
do better, something
yeah,
better. Do better. Maybe I'll think about that a little. See if I can pitch you something.
Yeah, I've been playing with it. It's a bike bike packing trip and a hiking trip, hike.
Do Better's epic eco journey.
There you go.
How about can you do better?
Ooh.
Sharing.
Oh, and you're going to be able to launch his merchandise via your store there, I guess. Hopefully.
Absolutely, if that's what you want to do. Absolutely.
Have you talked? You haven't talked to her
yet?
yet?
I'll hit you up. Okay. Appreciate it.
Cool.
Sonia, you got the mic there, so you might as well. And by the way, do better on mines as well too. I believe, or is it Chris? Is Chris?
You can hashtag do better with the 2 O's. Do better, and then or it's at Chris Do Good.
Right.
And it's 2 O's on that. So DOO better.
Awesome.
Do good.
Can't believe Roger's been so quiet this go around. It's crazy. But anyways,
I know he's been wrapped up in something or another.
I think what he's not a huge. You know what it is? I think it's because he's not a huge Trump fan. As far as I can tell. What?
It's the opposite. I actually disagree with a lot of what you guys are saying, because like with Doge.
Well, then say it.
You're gonna see a lot of changes, and the sad part is it's gonna be you guys who are gonna get hit above us as American citizens.
Korea?
All of you. If you're outside of the United States, you better think some serious stuff's coming your way, because like this whole Doge thing is going to be an ultimatum to a lot of these internet networks, telling them it's over or you're gone. And I'm sorry, but these networks aren't going to be able to maintain without the United States. Like they're not going to be able. They already have TikTok with the 90-day. Mandatory where they have to sell their corporation.
They're not. Oh, what Trump is what he's saying is like, TikTok can stay. It's just that we get half of it.
Congress said they're gone. In 90 days, they sell half of their company or they're gone. United States.
Oh no, Trump says that half of it goes to the U.S., half of their stock or
Zuckerman showed up yesterday at the inauguration because he's kissing ass. He knows his ass is in a sling, and every single one of the CEOs for these big tech corporations showed up except for the CEO for Google and YouTube.
Is that a good thing or not then?
I don't know if that's a good thing or if it's a bad thing with the whole thing about YouTube or not, because they're the culprits. They're the ringleaders behind all this stuff.
Kidding.
You know, and that's the thing that people need to keep an eye on. I noticed their prices. They're getting ready for the fines.
What about their stock value?
That's another thing. Now, if they continue with their World Health Organization rhetoric and they keep pushing that, they're going to get heavily fined, and eventually they'll be banned from the United States.
Well, they shut people like us down if we even say the slightest thing that goes against the WHO's official narrative. That's one of the issues that we're up against. You're saying that Trump is they're going to change that?
That's really that's what Doge is going to be all about. Now, when it comes to
that'd be DAGA, that'd be Department of Government Accountability, not Department of Government efficiency. This is accountability.
They've already been discussing it. Doge is the one that's going to be doing it. It's going to be it's going to be a collaboration between RFK. What's his name? The Arab guy that tried to run for president.
Vivek Ramaswamy. He's not Arab. He's Hindu. He's Indian.
Same thing.
Pretty much.
Vivek and Elon are all three going to be working together. RFK is supposed to be doing agriculture, Department of Agriculture. Now, I'm kind of wondering about him too. I brought it up in the chat earlier because he didn't show up for the inaugural either.
He was there.
No, I watched the whole thing. He was.
I saw him there. Glad he was there right beside Zuckerberg.
So he was there.
And Bezos. Yeah, I did see him. He kept kind of just a low key profile.
That's good to hear, because that's the one thing that stuck out to me. I was wondering, because I know he wasn't there the whole time. You know, what I mean?
It's people. They're busy, man. People are all over Washington doing different things.
Man,
right?
Every single one of those guys. That's what I'm saying. They were kissing ass yesterday.
Of course.
People that claimed they didn't like him were there. Dude, Nelly sung for freaking Donald Trump, dude. Nelly, okay?
Never heard. Well,
seriously.
Nelly, I don't know.
You don't know who Nelly is? He's like Mr. Big freaking liberal hip hop singer.
Sounds
dude.
like he should be one of P. Diddy's cellmates.
Yeah, most likely. I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. That's probably where you do need to have Angel in here because he could clear up a lot of
Absolutely,
that.
yeah, and so he hasn't been feeling too well lately.
But wouldn't Diddy enjoy that?
Probably.
Diddy would definitely enjoy that.
Diddy be down with that. Diddy be down with that.
Nelly would probably be down with that too because he's kind of frisky on the limp.
Yeah. Now I know who you're talking about. Smelly Nelly. Yeah, that's right. Smelly Nelly.
The question: who would be down first?
Well, it all depends on who likes taking it and who likes receiving. You know, like all homosexuals aren't the same, dude. Some like to take it and some like to receive it. So
That's
you gotta
yes, you are.
Like they don't like. No, seriously, they. You know what I mean? It's like
yes, you are.
No, this is a real thing. Yeah.
Hey, Trump is Space Force, says David Wilkes here. So let's not forget about Space Force. You know, and limited hangout. Here's another example. It's just bouncing us off the blue pill wife last night and just kind of like completely went over her head entirely. Of course, didn't really make any impression or resonate whatsoever other than kind of like
how there's a lot of flat Earth Trump supporters, and they don't believe that there's such a thing as space, but they still support Trump even though he supports Space Force. So I still get my head around that.
Why do we have to always talk about flat earthers? God.
The CIA psyop is so obvious. Mandela effect. What's the other one? The Mandela effect, flat Earth. There's one more. Huh?
Q.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. God. Yeah, those three.
Mandela effect is not a psyop, dude. Okay, come on.
Look, synchronicity. I'm down with synchronicity. I'm down with synchromysticism. Okay. Oh, is that Christian? Is that his ex? What's he doing? Are you still with that thing? What is that? Is that? Dude looks like a lady.
Angel did that.
Christian can't get me. I'm over here all the way in South Korea. No bloody, you bring it on, man. It's like, yeah, he can't get. I can diss him all I want. En français, tabarnak, sacre bleu. Ah. You know, I don't know how to say other bad words in French, but anyways, yeah. I love French too. I do love French.
That was Angel. He's the one that did the picture.
Oh, really?
He's a horrible. He's all, I'm not feeling good and everything, but you know why? He's good at freaking trolling every single channel.
Yeah. He'll be trolling from he'll be trolling up until his last breath. You can bet.
Right.
Yeah. Vinny, have you met Angel?
I believe so.
Yeah. Oh, well, if you haven't, well, just wait. Hopefully he doesn't kick the bucket before then, but yeah, he's struggled. I mean, we've all got health. Who doesn't have health issues to one extent to the next? Are you okay, Sonia? You're okay? Your health is pretty good? Good. You're a lucky lady. Good stuff. I'm lucky I've got a supportive wife here who kind of babies me a little bit when I start whining about my issues. But yeah, it's like I don't even want to start the list right now. Just trust me. It's not on my deathbed at present, but close enough. So
if I had someone to whine to, I'd probably have health issues too. You know, that's kind of how it goes, actually. You know.
You don't think it's good to whine?
Well, you can whine if you want. Everybody can. It's a choice. It contributes to the whole program of your mind.
Here's the thing. Yeah, I understand.
To make your body do crazy stuff.
I know. I was just talking. One of my adult students, this guy, Korean dude, who he doesn't take painkillers, Tylenol, or nothing. It's crazy, you know. And he's no flu shots or anything. Hopefully, we can get it. You know, we can say that without getting shut down here. We'll see. Like, it's just crazy, of course. But how dare you question the food taker? You know. But yeah, he's. I got a lot of respect. Robert Morningstar, another example. The guy's like, wow, like, dude, I don't know how you do it. But with the pain, and women are a lot better with pain than men. But I will tell you this much: if we're fighting. If we're in a fight situation, what is it? It's more than fight, flight. It's like fight, flight, fuck, and there's two more that I came up with, which I can't remember right now for some reason. Food, fight, flight, fuck, food, or friends. How's that? Yeah, fight. Yeah, I think there's like it's kind of like the 3M standing nation state, right? Like military, money, media. Think about it: military, money, media, and the fourth that is often, maybe not enough thought given to, but yeah, mafia. Kind of you find intersecting all three of those, although they
There's
do
another.
keep it on the low down. Out of sight, out of mind, occulted. Go ahead.
There's another one you got to think of, and people don't remember it. It's called Peace Sells, but who's buying?
Right.
Like
Right.
exactly.
I lifted that and used it as a lyric in a song I wrote called "Hemp for Victory," something that I shared with Vinny last week, and he essentially told me it was time to take it back to the drawing board. So that's okay.
Sonya just lifted it too, man. Just stuck it right up into the camera.
Lifted her tit? Which one?
Yeah, she did. She's showing off Megadeth shirt, dude. Just popped it.
She's just
up.
flashing cleavage. That's all she's trying to do there.
That's what she. Look at her shirt, dude. It's Megadeth.
I see that. Yeah.
That's what she did.
Oh, is that the one where they say? I thought that was Metallica, like Peace Sells, but who's buying?
Oh God, don't ever compare Metallica to Megadeth, dude. That's like sacrilege.
Oh, you.
I know. Thank you, Roger. Thank you.
Heavy metal, you headbangers, eh? So
David Mustang.
The only really kind of hardcore like Motorhead, and that's just because of Lemmy. That I dug, like I could listen to Motorhead with Lemmy because he was who he was. He was not a poser.
Well, he was a legend, though. He did so much in rock and roll, man, that nobody's even aware of.
And and he was all about old style 3-chord rock, like rockabilly, rock and roll kind of material. What was the little group he had together that he would sometimes work with behind the scenes? The kind of I don't know. It was that sort of deal where just old, like Elvis songs and maybe Buddy Holly or things like that.
I think it was rockabilly.
Yeah, rockabilly style. So, all right. Well, he said David Wilkes finally here. JD Vance won't be there soon. Well, who's what? That's the thing. What if the vice president dies? Who replaces him? His wife? Like Speaker of the House, I think, is next in line. The president, but is that how it really works? So.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, though. That inauguration was excellent. That's something that America needed to have done for a very long time.
Yeah.
Because, like we've got this generation that has no sense of tradition whatsoever.
Right.
And the fact that they did it indoors even made it better because, like, they were right there inside. That was probably the most beautifulest freaking inauguration I've ever seen in my life.
Well, and then he took it to that 20,000 seat venue where he's signing all the executive orders, right? Mm-hmm. It was a local sports, DC sports venue, I guess. And that was
really weird.
What do you mean?
That was he stayed up from what I'm hearing. He was up all the way up until at least midnight, dude, signing those freaking orders like nonstop.
So wait a minute, Biden, with the single stroke of a pen, did he not expunge, nullify everything that Biden had? And Biden that was historic what Biden himself did. The number of executive orders, EOs, he signed off when coming into office in 2020 that Trump nullified with the single stroke of a pen. Is that not the case? Is that not how it worked?
That was supposed to be what happened. He went in and he nullified. It was a deal that, well, actually there were two of them because there was one thing. It was a phone app that immigrants could do over the phone where they could get things done faster so they could come into the United States.
Helping to game the system.
and he shut it down automatically.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my God! In the border, yeah, like it seems like there's some serious action potentially going to be, and there's.
But the weird part about all that though is like you guys were talking earlier about the inmates and stuff. He actually
J6ers.
Yeah, he pardoned every single one of them.
No, he didn't.
The only ones he didn't pardon was the ones that had already been released because they served like 6 months. And
that's not true. Not quite. No, there's Stewart.
There's eight of the major ones are still being held until midnight. 2 of them was able to get out.
Okay.
And they're still trying to figure out, I believe, where the other 6 are because they're spread out across the country.
There's a difference between pardoning and clemency, though, from what I understand, right? So he pardoned the vast majority, but then there is like 6, or as you say, maybe 8 special cases that they may, I think, have received simply clemency, similar to what was issued.
I don't think it was clemency. I think it was they commuted the sentences.
Yeah, it could have been it too. Like Stuart Rhodes and the Proud Boys. These are really kind of extremist.
The Proud Boys were the ones that they were part of the 8 that they're trying to find now. They're trying to figure out where. Well, today they might have actually located them, but 2 of them are definitely known.
Wow.
But the Proud Boys are. I mean, all of them. They're not. I mean, they aren't reducing charges. They're getting out. They're free. They're done.
So,
stay tuned,
folks.
It must have pissed Trump off whenever Biden did what he did in his last 30 minutes of office. You know what I'm saying? Because like he was trying to be nice at the beginning, and then when he went downstairs, dude, he just freaking went off. He started talking so much shit about Biden, dude. It was pathetic.
Well, he was saying what he did in pardoning his family was disgraceful.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and think about it. Like right when he first got there, okay, he was being nice. They were shaking hands, trying to be civil, And then next thing you know, freaking he pulled that crap, and then Trump just all of a sudden snapped, dude.
It's almost like theater, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like high level, high profile theatrics. Yeah. So, and security clearances revoked for a whole number of people, people, establishment, people in the intelligence community. 50 or 51 in particular, I think, that were singled out 51 times. That had said something along the lines of the Hunter Biden laptop having all the earmarks of a Russian disinformation project or operation, So they've had their security clearances now supposedly revoked. So whatever that means, the devil's in the details, folks. Don't ever forget that. The devil's in the details. You hear about all these either the wonderful policies or maybe not so wonderful, and then just
it was an interesting day though yesterday. I'll tell you that right now. That was probably the most interesting inauguration I've ever seen.
So finally we hear from him in the last dying few minutes here.
I'm done. I mean,
Roger,
I really don't.
Go.
I didn't even want to say this shit.
We wanted to hear from you from the beginning, man. Do you think, what are we going to do? I'm going to tell you to get lost. Do you have time for you to leave now or what?
Well, I mean, it's just like politics right now is just driving me nuts. You know
so
what I mean?
Well, so what? I mean, you can speak your mind. That's what we're here for. That's why we have the platform.
I mean, not like in a positive way. Like, I'm so sick of freaking politics. I was really surprised that yesterday turned out as well as what. Did you notice there was no riots? There was no problems.
There were minor protests and stuff and that sort of thing.
But it was good. You know what I mean? Like when Trump's first office came in, they had a bunch of hippies standing out in Washington burning shit. And then freaking last time it was the riots that took place, and this time nothing happened. nothing happened. And that's strange. That tells you what happens when freaking little Miss Crazy Lady's out of freaking Congress too.
Pelosi?
Yeah, Pelosi. Once all of them got too old to freaking actually hold a position, and Biden was too senile to freaking actually do anything. Freaking, they put him on an airplane. Said, "See you later, old man. Get the fuck out of here."
Where is Pelosi, anyways?
She's retired. She ended up freaking retiring.
Isn't she using a walker these days?
Probably. She's senile.
Heard that she was. Yeah. So. Anyways, all right, folks, that about does it. I don't know. I think we've pretty much covered everything, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to have their voices heard. We've both, as far as the roundtable here itself and the wider peanut gallery end of things, although we are seeing Zane Ivy dropping in here, connecting with us, just as we pretty much call it a day. Replying to Joshua Allen Huckle, well, with Kennedy's input, we'll see a cessation of water fluoridation throughout the U.S. So that's what he is hypothesizing or speculating will be the case, which hopefully, yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it? But then again, what about our teeth, man? What about our teeth? Don't they care? They really care about our teeth, don't they?
If it's helping your teeth out, if it's helping your teeth out so much, why don't you take some of that toothpaste and rub it on your balls and see how that feels?
That's the only reason they put it in the water, was just so they could protect our teeth. So they're just kind of like why they're spraying in the skies. Let's not forget, why there's first of all, the chemtrails didn't exist, and now when finally it's like, oh shit, well we got to cop to the fact that something's actually going on. It's like we're just trying to protect you from global warming. Man-made global warming, carbon-based man-made global warming, or cow farts.
I mean, would you brush your teeth with freaking icy hot?
What's icy hot?
Icy hot is freaking where it's where you rub it on you for sore pain on your elbows and stuff like that.
Oh, you mean like Tiger Balm?
Yeah. Would you do that? Would you brush your teeth with that?
Geez, I don't know. Some people rub their gums with cocaine. Apparently, they like kind of.
That's a different story altogether. That's another adventure that I can tell you about, but I'm not going to because it's almost
actually
time.
Roger. I make my own toothpaste, and I used experiment. It kind of gives a mentholy kind of effect. So I'm sure they're two different chemicals altogether.
Do you use baking soda?
I was about to say you make your own
soda,
cocaine.
Yeah. Coconut oil, baking soda, and spearmint.
What about honey?
Haven't used that. I like honey though.
Oh yeah, Chris.
I doubt icy hot has the same kind of ingredients as that.
Yeah. Do better.
Toothpaste.
Hey, yo, I just said that I thought she was going to say she made her own cocaine.
Oh, that would be great. That'd be wonderful. I'd really be getting shit done then.
Ancient. Well, apparently, what guys I heard the stories that would having bang with whoever, usually women, obvious if you look at the stats, obviously, but that they put it on the end of their PP tallywhacker. Tallywhacker. So that's how you keep score. I just finally realized that expression.
It's exaggerated. It does absolutely nothing.
Whack her. I'm gonna whack her with my tally.
They
numb it. They numb it down.
Cocaine.
What's that?
I'm gonna have to agree with Roger there.
It's a waste of good cocaine. Don't do that. What you do is you have her put it in her mouth and then give you a blowjob.
That's more effective. Actually.
Oh, I see. Then everyone's numb.
Yeah.
Would that actually feel good?
For her.
In her mouth?
I don't think her would be feeling too much of anything so much.
Oh, right. So you could
in her mouth.
You could pound that beast as hard as you wanted.
I like her thinking, dude. This is like a really cool Johnny joke.
It is what it is. Okay, come on, you guys.
The gag
No,
reflex.
but I like your thinking.
Okay, ancient Kemet had 42 tribes, 42 pylon boundaries on the Nile, of which 12 tribes of Israel, Exodus, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. 42. Oh, it's like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I think. And it's interesting you mentioned that. The missus here just brought that up this morning, actually. Douglas Adams, he died a really young death. And I said, was that a heart attack? May have been. So the guy was brilliant. So ancient Kemet, 42 tribes, 42 pylon boundaries on the Nile, of which 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, yeah, blah blah.
They used to have They also used to have a ceremony too. That when Martin was talking about them saying Hugh, with Hugh, they would actually have a ceremony where freaking they would always say Hugh, you know. Every time I read that out loud, I start laughing because it's hard for me to imagine like a whole bunch of people around the pyramids in the Sphinx, and all they're saying is Hugh, Hugh.
Right.
I was like, think about it, like Hugh. We just say that, you know, just like whenever we're feeling anxiety or something.
You got to come up with something. It's like the Om. Oh.
You know? Well, I mean, think about it, like a whole group of people.
You want to go home? We're on the way home. You know, Tesla. What did Tesla talk about? Vibration and frequency, right? That's why Wi-Fi 5G really puts me on edge. I'm concerned not just for myself, but all of humanity and everything on the planet as well. Is, you know, and you got these.
There's nothing good out of this. No.
5G and Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Well, and they're cranking it up even more. Can you just wait till it gets to be like 10G?
Yeah.
I think they're getting close, aren't they?
It's already out there. We just don't know about it.
Exactly. Koreans here, they're so naive and gullible. Do you know what they think with 5G Wi-Fi? Do you know what they have no conception of the fact that this stuff, it blasts through concrete buildings, but then when it comes up to you, it finds a person. It just kind of politely asks for permission to pass around or to pass through your house.
What?
No, like they're that completely out to lunch, really, and I don't know if you say disengaged or clueless, but they just don't stop to think that.
Well, obviously, it's your job to correct that whole situation.
Well, I'm just to draw. I don't know the precise truth of the matter, but it seems that we've got this stuff blasting through us 24/7, pretty much. It shoots right on through these large concrete apartments and many others, you know, steel structures and you name it. Although we here ourselves have asked that there be no 5G where we're based out of, either here, our little study our local, you know, academy we have nearby.
I didn't think it could go through trees even. So
actually, you know what? That's a good point. You remember that there? Okay, see you. Yeah, happy sailing, Chris. All right. Yeah, that's why they were cutting down.
Yeah, have a good one.
The cutting down.
I do.
All the trees around anywhere you would be finding.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there you go. So.
And they had to put so many. So they say. I think it's really all a bunch of BS because, I mean, come on, what's going on now? I mean, I think the whole thing is actually BS, if you ask me. I don't even think they use 5G on anybody's phone. I think it's still just 4G. They're just saying that so they could have.
Yeah.
So could build all
I've
these
heard that.
things,
You know what? Hey, I'll tell you what. Neither of us are experts, but there was a video that I watched where there was an expert who went into a phone and they checked it and they said, this isn't 5G.
Yeah, intuitively, that's kind of what I'm getting.
It's
and
like the
plus
marketing.
My daughter got the 5G phone, and I'm like, seriously, you know, and
the way it's
really
being marketed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way. Yeah, I think it's BS for sure.
Marketing.
What do we look at?
Marketing.
Mueller
Marketing.
report. Best movie ever.
It's all marketing.
Proud Boys aren't extremists. They're mostly a drinking club. Is what Zane says here via Facebook or YouTube rather. We're scrolling up a little bit. So
for sure.
Oh wow, it's quite something. I like Trump's address and withdrawing from the WHO, the Paris Accord, the climate treaty. Total nonsense. Speaking of treaties and so forth, the World Weather Warfare Treaty, signed for anyone that's interested looking into these matters. World Weather Warfare. It's a real thing, people. That nation states signed off on this back in 1976. It was ratified in 77 via the UN in Geneva, but it's only applicable among nation states so that China cannot, under the terms of the agreement, target the US. Australia cannot target New Zealand. France cannot target Britain with these weather warfare exotic scalar weapons. It's the technology and weapons. Speaking of Wi-Fi and 5G and the like, or HARP for that matter, or low orbit satellites, which the only person I've heard make any mention of that whatsoever is a public figure and politician of sorts is RFK Jr. Great speech that he gave actually a number of months ago via Washington, D.C. And it was the first time I actually heard someone put it in those terms, low orbit satellites. It's a major issue. And was that like a swipe or some?
No, I mean, I've been talking about these for a while, and like people love to go out and get satellite internet, okay, and they don't realize what's going on there. Like when you see Zuckerberg launching off those drones that are floating around in the air 24/7 all around the world, the reason why he's doing
Zuckerberg
that is
or Musk?
All of them. Every one of these platforms are doing it.
Really?
And the reason for it is because of latency. Like they have satellites in going around the planet, but because they're in the outer atmosphere, it's causing latency to people who have internet through the satellite things. So what they're trying to do is get these satellites closer and closer to the Earth. And it's getting insane. Like eventually these satellites are going to start falling from the freaking sky, man.
Yeah, wow.
And I mean, this is real shit that they're doing. It's crazy when you get into all that. And like when you hear about this stuff, this is the reason why they're doing it with those drones, is because they're trying to make a network of these drones that are going to connect the internet, and they're going to have just information all around the planet where they can just do whatever they want
with AI. And let's not forget, and then the AI variable thrown into the mix.
David Icke talks about that stuff. I mean, he talks about wanting to create a holographic freaking reality where everybody, you know what I mean, where everybody believes that stuff that they actually see is real, but it's not.
That's the metaverse that Zuckerberg has been pushing, I guess, which, I mean, not, the
Digi-twin, right?
Who the hell would sign up for something like that? Maybe
we didn't have to sign up. They did it anyway without anyone's permission. It's already done.
No, we've been born. We were born from out of the singularity, then back into the singularity. There is a natural singularity matrix that already exists. But what are you talking about? Like, this is something that's artificially man-made.
Yeah, sure it is. Yeah. And
Neuralink. They call it what? Neuralink Skylink. Yes, or Skynet.
Yeah. It's a little different than Neuralink. And I don't know that much about it, but I do know that the stuff we breathe, the nano stuff and all that.
Nanoparticulates,
yeah, it's already in everybody, and they've already linked us up to cloud or the digi-twin area or whatever, just look up Sabrina Wallace.
Well, yeah. Look up Smart Dust, I guess, too. That's right. Sabrina Wallace. And what the hell is his name? He's interesting. I think he actually, the bastard, he blocked us on BitChute, and I don't know why.
Juxtaposition?
Yeah.
Really? He blocked you guys?
Really? We can't comment. Yeah, he blocked us from commenting, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like, what the hell? Like, what a, so.
No, we're bros. He followed me on, I think it was Rumble or.
Well, then we're not, he's not followed us on Rumble, but he at least we're connected with him. Because we do like some of his content. I think he goes overboard sometimes. He's
just pissed. He's really mad about stuff.
He's a prickly kind of guy, if you catch my drift. He can be kind of prickly. Prickly.
A little bit. He's been doing interviews with Sabrina lately that are pretty interesting, actually.
She's very much
I love her.
She's very well informed. So, yeah. Have you talked about, in fact, maybe helping to get her on the show?
Oh, Sabrina?
I thought you did.
know. That'd be a tough one. No,
it wouldn't. Just reach out to her and explain. Just introduce yourself.
But she's not an interviewer. She doesn't go around.
Well, she does lots of shows with juxtaposition.
That's the only guy. That's the only guy she.
Well,
knows.
that's unfortunate.
She's had like hanging out with her friend. She did she was online with her, but she's not an interview type. I mean, I'll see what I can do.
Tell her to stop being so narrow-minded with she's with the sharing of her amazing breadth of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean that would be interesting to have her on.
Tell her to come forth and be part of.
I'd rather.
I don't think she'll go.
I mean, I like I said, I was following Juxtaposition's work for a while, and lately I've kind of fallen out of it simply because just I don't know, just after him with the blocking us from commenting on his BitChute.
It might not have been him. I mean, it could have been you know how shit goes sometimes when you block one thing and 45 other things happen, and you're like, oh my god, you don't even know about it till later on. So.
We're okay on Rumble still. He hasn't bothered us on Rumble, but we don't really say much. We just kind of if we engage his content, we give it a thumbs up usually, and rarely we might leave a comment anywhere, wherever his or some other place, some other item that someone's put out there once in a blue moon. But
he's really just on Substack nowadays. Rumble, he's
on Substack
video, and
I didn't know that. Oh, okay. How about that? Huh?
Yeah, all the videos kind of linked to Substack on Rumble anymore. It was recent, change.
But once again, the God's honest truth is the simple fact is, I'm happy not to have to spend all of my life online, regardless of what the way that the plutocrats and the technocracken. Look, and by the way, where's our technocracken T-shirt?
Dude, send me a fucking picture. I will have it for you ASAP.
Okay,
I know, right? I should have already just ascertained this by myself.
No.
If you do something like
write this down, Jaffe. Technocracken. Okay, technocracken.
Like put big titties on the technocracken too.
No, we've got. Actually, we had David Charles help us out last year, and he came up with some pretty decent
big old
creative
tentacles
ideas.
And titties and stuff.
But technocracken, and don't forget that something to do, WPRPN.com, like Thieves in the Night.
Yes, I've got that one. Actually, I just haven't done anything with it.
That's okay.
But I did work on that.
That's a separate item there. So
like the Kraken, you know what I'm saying? But the Kraken with like these huge boobs just hanging
Robin
out
Hood with a mask on or something.
Roger.
That would be the Roger.
Are you fucking kidding me, Roger?
Charlie Roger Hansen. Charlie Roger Hansen.
Ew.
The Kraken. The Kraken.
With the cocaine,
technological boobs hanging out all over the place. Yeah,
just and not really like boobs, just like teats, like teats from a cow.
Well, aren't they
deep throating coke teats?
The little octopusy things, they're all teats anyway, aren't they?
There you go, octopus.
What did she just say?
Right.
Do we have a time delay here? Time delay? I don't know if our I know our subscribers
Roger
might
made
get
me
kicked,
say
but our
that, okay?
sponsors,
It was mind meld.
He made me do it.
Fucking mind meld.
those the 7 dirty words. 7
They
dirty
rocked
words.
the pussy.
Do you know the 7 dirty words?
Yeah.
Actually, that's not one of pussy is fine, but cunt,
Right.
It's not even
cunt is
dirty
a no go. It's
Well,
cunt, yeah.
that's a normal word in a lot of other countries.
It's a great word. It's
Um,
powerful.
Countries.
Powerful.
Well, I mean, there's
Yeah.
there's
This my dad asked me. He's like, "Oh, what kind of tree is that?
the pussy tree.
What kind of tree?" Oh, really?
It's like my dad. He asked me, he's like, "Man, have you gotten any pussy yet?"
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
That
fucking-
blunt?
No, I mean,
It's
when
pretty
you get
blunt.
older, dude. When you get older,
Yes.
parents,
You know what you should
Yeah.
tell them? Hey,
Dad,
Just gotta get
dads
right to
will-
the point.
hey, you tell them you only
dads
do
will
it
just
doggy
straight out
style.
ask you,
Tell them you only do it doggy style.
freaking out, get them
There's
excited.
there's a
You'll wanna
Vinny
hear
Eastwood
more.
joke for you.
You know better than that, Jeffy. If you told your dad that as an adult, he'd been even gotten more excited.
What?
Next thing you so you've never had the conversation with your dad
Like the birds and the bees?
after that? Like,
Yeah.
freaking-
Oh,
He's talking about way after that.
no, he hooked me up with a couple of hookers when I was young. That's about it.
my dad,
Well,
my
you know,
dad would,
I mean,
my dad would get all excited if he,
Had
if I
to
started.
rob me of my virginity somehow. It was all. It wasn't on several
virginity was taken
separate
by a
occasions.
hooker?
It was a one-time deal. Like it was crazy. It was a wild.
wait.
few days
Your
there.
virginity was taken by a hooker.
Well, I wouldn't go that far, but
It was down
they
at
were.
it was down at the fishing dock.
They were. I don't know. It was like kind of these women who it seemed. My impression was I was kind of young and naive at the time, and I didn't really.
That explains a lot.
They showed up
actually.
from pretty much out of nowhere and spent a couple days together. Didn't get into too many personal details, but they were
Oh my god.
they were all over me. I could not do anything to.
Really?
So
I
you
could
had,
not.
like,
It was crazy.
lesbian
They just
frickin' prostitutes.
they just 7 ways to
ditched
Sunday
school
had their way with
to
me, and I
lose my
was
virginity.
completely at their mercy. What did you say with a horse?
No, to lose my virginity. I ditched school and I went over to Kevin Bowman's
Oh,
house. He
dude.
did school too. I took a city bus over there. I was 14,
Kevin Bowman
And,
had a horse.
13. And
Dude.
no, he didn't. There's no horses, Jeff.
There's no horses involved.
No.
I've seen this cool freaking video that now that we're talking about this,
We gotta go. This is
it-
ridiculous.
That's hilarious. Are you kidding me?
freaking like there's this
And you wonder why
horse,
nobody
dude.
listens.
Dude.
That's because we're not talking like this. People listen to this shit.
Mm,
This is like super real.
some
There's
real
this
hot
video
stuff.
I
Go
want
ahead, Roger.
Naroki to see.
Sorry, Roger.
I want Naroki to see this video because like freaking he has this issue about bears and like feminists where they said that they would choose the bear over men. So I want to show him this video that freaking they have out now about freaking horses, this chick and the horses. And it's like really, really disgusting, dude.
You're talking about
You
like
might be right.
raunchy bestiality. That's the sort of
You might
thing
be
you're
right,
into.
Jeffy.
Yeah.
This is what you do in your
And-
spare time, is it?
No, it's a feminist freaking
Right,
picture they
right.
got out, dude, and it's
Freudian
it's,
slip. Freudian slip.
it's pretty sick. But yeah,
It-
that's
well,
what it
yeah, you
basically
definitely
comes
are.
down to.
Crossing the
It's a
line.
horror. But you haven't been on the Rookie show in a while, have you?
I've never even been on a horse.
Oh, Naroki
Really?
show.
Wow.
Does it? No, I've been on horses. So I've never
Well,
been.
maybe
I've
you
never
should
just
be
never
a little more
too often.
transparent.
Never too often behind any. So, but
Yeah.
speaking of which, did you see? I was just silly the Jerry Springer documentary. Now that you mentioned it, I was never like Jerry Springer's. Like I'm not watching this crap. Like occasionally, it's like, oh God, here we go again. This is just ridiculous. But it was fascinating to see the way that what took place. It's a Netflix documentary. In case people are
Yeah, thank
curious. Yeah,
Wonderful.
check it out. I don't know the name, but just type in Springer Netflix. You'll be able to track it down. And so one of the big shows of all time that they had was when this guy who had been married with a couple daughters separated with his wife, I guess the rest of his family too, ended up marrying, was it a horse or a pony? It's a pretty small horse.
It doesn't matter.
More like a pony. And it was sick, man. It was like really sick. And I think the guy was like, he was visually impaired or something, but maybe he was all about like, you know, tactile stimulation or something. But
I would suggest Vikings Valhalla if you're gonna watch something on Netflix.
What's that?
It's a bit different. Vikings Valhalla.
Oh, really?
It's a great show.
Is it a new one?
Yeah, it kind of, yeah.
Or is it a spin-off? Is it a spin-off of the original Vikings?
Well, I think it is kind of a spin-off, but it's supposed to take place like before the Viking show that was all over the place on network.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's very interesting. It's got Eric the Red and
cool.
Leif Erikson, and I cried at the last episode. I was like, oh my god, it was great.
Oh, cool.
Really cool.
Well,
yeah. Way better than donkey fucking.
I got a little bit of
that was
information
courtesy of
to you,
Jerry Springer documentary.
You're talking about that Jerry Springer documentary.
It was a good show.
Now you know the blonde chick that played the freaking prostitute in the movie.
No, what movie?
Well, the movie they came out with Jerry Springer had the blonde chick on there with her mom.
But I do know he was caught with two.
They were supposed to have sex with him.
They did. He ended up in this porn star scandal. That was legit. But that was for
in the movie. In the movie, Joe Dirt, the blonde-headed chick that he was having sex with, and he found out that she was his sister. What? And then found out afterwards that she wasn't his sister.
What are you talking about?
She's the one that starred in the movie. Like, have you ever watched Joe Dirt?
With Jerry Springer?
No, Joe Dirt. Have you ever watched the movie Joe Dirt?
DIRT, like stuff on the ground?
Yeah, Dirt.
Joe Dirt.
If you haven't seen that show, Jeffy, you have to watch it.
Why?
It's so hilarious. Oh my god.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have a sick sense of humor, actually, truth be told.
It's not sick.
Okay.
It's totally not sick.
This part is kind of sick, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
It wasn't in the movie, though, so much.
Okay.
You know,
all right.
But anyhow, he turns around and he starts having sex with this chick, and then he finds out that there's a good chance she's his sister.
It's a comedy.
So, yeah. Absolutely. So the weird part is like when he found that out, they both wanted to have sex more. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
So this is the
God bless Julie Wood.
That's funny.
This
Holly
is the
weird.
big twist, though. Okay, they find out. Oh no, she's not my sister. Okay, so all of a sudden the sex is gone, right? And it drove him nuts so much that freaking she started telling him, "You need to call me sister."
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
That was funny. It was a real quick part, but it was hilarious.
Yeah. It was hilarious. It's like one of the funniest parts in the whole movie.
Who is it that's in that movie? It's not Dana Carvey. It's the other guy.
Who's your daddy?
He does a show with Dana Carvey these days.
David Spade.
David Spade, yeah. Super funny. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's one of the best movies ever.
Alrighty. Well, no, there's a lot of good quality entertainment out there. There's no doubt about that. There's a lot of crap though too. It's really it's a pretty subjective kind of thing, as is the case in point with what we've produced here over the past couple hours. So make of it what you will, folks. If you do appreciate what we have put together, though, be sure to like, comment, share, pass along to friends, family, and co-workers. Keep in mind that Pirate One Radio at Proton Mail is our email address, and WPRPN, the main homepage, of course. Drop by. Hang on a second, we got you muted out there because we're winding things down. So yeah, you're saying Alan?
Alan's over in D Live.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let you guys know.
Yeah, Amos Dale. I think he's on a new schedule. We often, we'll hook up with him here. He'll drop in, at some point before too long, I'd imagine. So, but we're thinking, it looks like right now, possibly the way things are going, being back here this Friday night, same time as we usually are, with the feature shows when we've got them booked, and we're trying to stay more committed to things, regardless of how things are operating more generally. Just dedicating ourselves to the cause over the next at least 6 months or so. We can only be here on air, live streaming, in operation, providing to you this free speech, free expression platform for so long, and without support, donations, sharing of the links, really powerful stuff, that everything just kind of falls apart, withers away. So, but yeah, True Crime Vancouver actually is what we're looking at there. Mark Devereaux, along with Naroki, speaking of him, just referenced a few moments ago, thanks to Roger here, of course. So, taking a look at, reflecting upon, trying to better get a sense of what really went down via the Picton Pig Farm, as it was known. And interestingly, no pun intended, but 1 or 2 degrees of bacon separation between this psychopathic mass murderer and the current Prime Minister of Canada, Queen Justine, or if you prefer Trump's language, Governor Castro, or Trudeau. Take your pick, folks. On behalf of Captain Long John, Sinclair, and all the rest of the crew here down in Skullport Harbor, until we meet again via these high, often all too intrepid digital seas, I'm your host, as always, the Robin Hood's Chief Communications Officer, Jaffe Ryder, reminding you, as always, to keep your ear to the ground and eyes to the sky. Happy sailing, everybody.